Yo, 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 Tuesday night, 8:36. You know what time it is. It's time for the Hockey Happy Hour. You only get that here on A2D Got a lot, and I mean a lot to unpack tonight. We got to talk about the Ivan Provorov trade. Yes, Ivan Provorov was traded unless you live under a rock. What's next for Danny Briere, Keith Jones, and the Flyers organization during his rebuild? We're going to talk about the Stanley Cup Finals. Yes, there's Stanley Cup Finals going on. We got 2 games to recap. Also going to preview Game 3 tonight. Like I said, a lot to unpack, tons to talk about. So hit that like, hit that subscribe, and tell your friends to do the same damn thing. And let's go talk some puck.
Oh my God! I'm embarrassed! He's flying!
Welcome in. It's almost time.
Uh-oh, did Maddie's computer freeze?
To a brand new edition of the Hockey Happy Hour.
Oh, no, Maddie.
Uh-oh.
I think you're good now.
Am I?
I think so. I think we're good.
All right. And to the Hockey Happy Hour live. Never mind.
Bear with us, guys. We're having a little technical difficulty at the moment.
Do we have any of those nice little rainbow things that we can put out?
All right, so Maddie's going to be back. So Maddie's going to be back.
Maddie.
Uh-oh.
Kick us off, Brian. Do it up.
Well, I'm going to kick it over to you, but you got welcome to the Hockey Happy Hour, everybody. Maddie's going to be back. Having some technical difficulties over there. He's been having some issues with his internet, so he will be back. We're not down the rest of the night. Myself, Brian Daly. We got Rob Povia over here. We got Brad Ryer underneath, and we got so much to talk about tonight. We got a lot on tap. We got the Ivan Provorov trade we're going to talk about, like I said in the preview. We're going to break down games 1 and 2 of the Stanley Cup Final between the Vegas Golden Knights and the Florida Panthers. We also have Game 3 preview of the Stanley Cup Finals as well. So we got a lot going on. So initially, we got the poll question up here tonight, which unfortunately I can't bring up on my side. But if I remember correctly off the top of my head, it went something along the lines of, with the trade of Ivan Provorov, does this bring the fan base any kind of faith in the new regime? Agree or disagree? Something to that basis. Like I said, can't remember off the top of my head, but that pretty much sums up the poll question. So, Robbie, I'm going to jump to you first. You and I had talked about it a little bit this afternoon. So, what do you think? Do you think that this trade of Ivan Provorov gives the fan base some faith back into the organization, that they're heading in the right direction?
I agree. And for one reason and one reason only. I mean, I feel the trade of Ivan Provorov does give hope to the Flyers fan base, because it shows that Danny B and Keith, the Danny B and Keith Jones administration is one of action and getting things done. I mean, for how long now have the Flyers been trying to dish Proby? Plus, they got a haul, including good draft capital, as I'm sure we're going to discuss and break down in the coming hours here at the Hockey Happy Hour. But one thing I wanted to bring up was Danny B gave an interesting answer. Adam Kleiman of NHL.com tweeted this out. Danny B gave an interesting answer about how the Provorov trade was worked through internally by the Flyers, with the president of hockey operations, Keith Jones, and Flyers chairman Dan Hilferty involved all along the way. He goes, actually, Keith was great. We're probably on the phone 4 or 5 times a day. And to go deeper in with that, it's been pretty amazing. Dan Hilferty was kept in the loop. Keith was kept in the loop the whole time, even though he's broadcasting for the Stanley Cup Finals, and all brought some really good ideas. John Tortorella as well thrown in there. But if he goes even deeper than that, the amazing part of this is how different departments were all involved working together. So I just think this is a really good sign of what's to come. There's been a lot of back and forth on terms of what players may or may not be following Ivan Provorov, which I'm sure we'll be getting into as well. But whether you agree or disagree with a particular player moving, at least this administration is showing that we're not just going to sit back and make little Band-Aid moves. We're here to rebuild this and rebuild it right.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a great start for the rebuild, in my opinion. This is the start of more of a traditional rebuild, not something that, as Flyers fans, you used to seeing, with the, let's go out and try and Band-Aid a bunch of things and try and win now. That's something that, again, traditionally as Flyers fans, you're used to seeing. And I've seen a lot of reaction from this trade online today. And a lot of it is, what are the Flyers doing? What's the return? This return is crap, da-da-da-da-da. This is a traditional rebuild that we're seeing here now.
They got a haul. It's not a traditional. This is not.
Yeah,
it's not a bad. That's not a bit. I was reading it. I was trying to think from, trying to be Mr. Negative and figure out and say, But then I'm looking at it. They got a first, 2 seconds, okay, and they got
2024.
a couple of young players that may or may not be good. We'll see what happens, and but the key is you're getting high draft picks. That's how you rebuild a hockey team.
Mm-hmm. You're giving up. You have no second round picks this year, but there's a potential for 3 next year.
Yeah, second round picks are very, very valuable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because first of all, they're great for trades. Okay, and secondly, you're looking at the top 60 players in the league when you're getting second round picks.
Absolutely.
And they're going to have 2 first round picks this year. I think that they're definitely doing it the right way. They're doing it the same way my team did it, and it's going to pay dividends. You're going to have to be patient for the next couple of years and allow these youngsters to go out there and play.
Yep, and that's exactly what the intention, it sounds like, is behind this. Is we're gonna get younger. We're gonna bring in guys like Cal Petersen, Sean Walker, who are both 28 years old, back into their contracts. We're gonna let one play out. We're gonna let Cal do what he's gonna do, and we're gonna let the young guys develop. That's what it sounds like. That's the plan here, and I think that's the right move for this rebuild, because you got guys that are just about ready. Hayden Connaughton was good. You opened up a top spot or another defensive spot to bring up maybe Ronnie Attard or even Zamula. And then I'm hearing things about this I read some stuff on this Kings prospect earlier. I like what I read about him. So real quick, for those who are just joining us, Maddie's going to be back. We apologize for not being able to show any sponsors. We apologize for not being able to show any of the comments. We see all you guys. Always appreciate you guys. Benny, Ryan, Johnny. Hey, there's Maddie.
Hey, guys.
So real quick, we're going to just cover the trade. So Flyers trade Ivan Provorov and Kevin Connaughton to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Flyers get Cal Petersen, defenseman Sean Walker, defensive prospect Helge Grans, the 22nd overall, a 24 second round pick, and a 24 conditional second round pick that could become a 2025. The thing I like about this kid, and I definitely think you guys, I want your opinions on this kid, Helge Grans. He's a 21-year-old big-bodied defenseman. He's 6'3", 205 pounds. He was a first-round talent. Not exactly sure what happened, but dropped to the second round, wound up being picked 35th overall. Some of his upside is he can patrol the blue line well on the offensive side. He has a big body that minimizes offensive chances. He's got a long reach and active stick, can skate well, and he looks very comfortable when he does have the puck on the blue line. And I got all this stuff from eliteprospects.com. because they're really one of the best places to really look up stuff on prospects. It really is one of the best sites to check out. So definitely check them out if you have any other thoughts on them. But big body defenseman, boys, what are we thinking?
You can never get enough of those. I know the Flyers, they also parted with Hayden Hodgson, who has played, up and down with the Phantoms. She's a journeyman, another throw-in player. He goes to the Kings along with Connaughton, and I think it's going to help all three teams. I mean, Columbus was in the market for a defenseman, and they got him. Maybe with a fresh start, Provy can, corrupt that locker room. I mean, play in that locker room. Excuse me, sorry, Freudian slip. And then for the Kings, the big thing is it frees up cash for them to extend Vladislav Gavrikov, which I think was their ultimate thing here too, because that's got to be on top of their offseason priority order with him being an unrestricted free agent on July 1st. In terms of the Flyers getting back, I mean, yeah, Helge Grans, great prospect. I think that, a big body defenseman, as I said, you can never get enough of those. You also get Sean Walker in the deal, another defenseman, just trying to further build that farm system. The interesting piece here, boys, though, is Cal Petersen going in the deal, setting off all the alarms all around the internet that Carter Hart would be following Ivan Provorov out the door.
Rich, he very well could. You never know. So, Maddie, what's your thoughts on this trade?
Well, I get where they were. I understand why they traded Provorov. The Hart deal, which seems from what I've been seeing is now a foregone conclusion. It's just a matter of when, not if. They're working on the deal right now, it sounds like. I'll be honest with you, I was not very happy to hear that news. I felt very, very not confused, just disappointed. I've thought, I thought that there would be a little bit more faith in Carter Hart than that. I thought there would be a little bit more, let's actually learn from our past mistakes. But I feel like, that hasn't changed in that regard. But then I also thought to myself for a second, maybe, just to give Danny the benefit of the doubt, maybe Danny really did believe that his rebuild was going to go past Hart's prime, or it was going to waste Hart's prime. And maybe he felt that we might as well trade Hart away because by the time we're ready to compete, Hart is not going to be in his prime any longer. Maybe that's what Danny was thinking. Maybe that's why Danny's thinking on it and saying, you know what? Let's make the deal, send him on his way, and let's just build on the talent we have right now. And, here's the thing. I find that to be still counterproductive. I really do. I find it's just like, so we're going to trade away our surefire number one goaltender for, I would assume, picks, because you very rarely get players for them that are going to ultimately steal the show or really get your value back for this. Because honestly, I do not see where this benefits us, trading Hart away. My personal opinion. I feel like Danny's making a mistake doing this, but
right.
It's just I'm very disappointed in that. I am very disappointed in the lack of confidence in Hart and the lack of wanting to help grow and help build him into the franchise goaltender that he could be.
Right. And let me stop you right there, Maddie, because all right, if the organization isn't confident in his skills, maybe he's had his fair share of health issues, as Jake Friel pointed out in our A2D chat, or just overall hasn't performed and they're wanting to move on, right? Maybe the Canadian junior hockey scandal looming over his head could play a part in this too, and they want to move on. If it's one of those two things, fine. You're going to get a lot of pieces back and it's going to help for your rebuild. But if it's the bullshit reason that, Carter Hart's going to be out of his prime before this team is good. How long do you think it's going to take to rebuild this team? 8 years, 10 years? Let's say it's 4. Let's say it's even 5. Then you're talking about a goaltender that's 29 years old. I don't think it takes 5 years. I think it gets done in 3 to 4 years, talking a 27, 28-year-old goaltender who would be in his prime. When did Vasilevsky reach his prime? What age was it? Oh,
26.
wait.
26.
26? Some may even say 27.
Yeah.
That's when goalies
So-
are at their best.
Right. So how is he not part of the long-term plans? It's just because he's been up so long, people get that sense, but they forget how young he was. I'm sick and damn tired of talking about the same freaking thing every week when people want to trade Hart.
Well, unfortunately, it sounds like the people who've been wanting to trade Hart are going to get their wish. As they say, be careful what you wish for. You just might get it, because I'll be honest with you, the moment that we trade Hart, we're going to find out real fast Flyers didn't have an answer for starting goaltender
Right.
other than him.
So you repair all your team, and then you don't have a good goaltender between the pipes. So effing Philly.
And right back to where we were in the early 2000s and the late 90s.
Are they expecting Picard to be their number one goalie? Listen, you still have to compete next season. You can't go out there and try to be 0-82. You can't do that. I mean, Picard is not a good goalie. He's actually bad. He's at best a backup, and certainly not one of the better backups in the league. I don't get why they would need to trade Hart. What are you going to get for him?
A lot. You
Okay,
can get a lot for this kid.
Tell me what it is you're going to get for him. If
You're
you're going to trade him, you better get a young goalie. Okay, that's number one. Okay, a top prospect young goalie. Okay, and that's
Not
number
Cal
one.
Petersen.
No,
he's 28. He's not young.
oh, it's Peterson. Oh, Picard, whatever. They both stink. So
I mean, Picard was a Flyer at one point, so it's fine.
yeah. Peterson isn't good. Peterson isn't good either. So they can't be doing that. You still have to go out there and compete next year. You're not gonna. You can't embarrass yourself by having an open window in goal.
Now, one thing I will say here, Swoopy, Flyers fan 1995 saying, but it's much needed since we've never truly did a true rebuild. Swoopy here saying, why didn't the Flyers look to shed salary in the trade? Could they only receive more draft picks only by taking on more salary? Here's the problem. That's pretty much the summarization there. But here's also the issue too. Because Chuck Fletcher fucked this team 3 ways from Sunday by signing Ristolainen to a shitty contract, signing Sanheim to a very shitty contract, and also signing Kevin Hayes to that shitty contract, you put yourself so far behind the 8 ball. My other thought process, this is something that has also been sitting in the back of my mind, thinking about this a little bit more. Maybe Danny doesn't feel like he can keep Carter Hart anyway. Maybe he feels like when the time comes and it's time to actually put up money for him, he won't have the money. So might as well trade him.
Right.
Or he may want too much money.
Maybe. If he goes on and has great seasons and the Flyers want to sign him back and he wants a little bit more money this time around because he's one of the major reasons the Flyers did better in the season than people thought they would, he might go to them and say, hey, can I get a little up in the salary? And if you're riding towards that cap ceiling, which the Flyers will probably begin flirting with those fucking contracts that they have, the problem is that you put yourself in a really bad situation. Not to mention the fact you got several players that if they continue to grow, you're going to need to re-sign them when the time comes. And that's going to hurt you in the long run too. So it wasn't just Hart that would have to come up in conversation in terms of re-signing him because he only signed a 3-year deal. Right. You would also then have Owen Tippett to talk about. You would also have Frost to talk about. You would have several other players to talk about as well. A lot of them still young and growing. And there you have a new problem. Because if those players have breakout years and you don't have the money to re-sign them, what the fuck do you do then?
Right. And don't get it twisted, Maddie. I ain't hating on. I mean, I praise Danny B and Jonesy for this Provorov deal, so I'm not flip flopping and then hating them on taking calls about Carter Hart. You got to do your due diligence. If you get an overwhelming deal, and if there's due to extraneous circumstances like you're talking about, salary cap issues, not a lack of confidence in him being the guy, right? I don't really think it's that, but that's been thrown out there too, right? If it's for other reasons, fine, take the calls. That's fine. But if it's purely because you don't think that this kid's not going to be in his prime by the time this team is good with the talent that you already have drafted and have on this team, that's a little foolish rationale. I'm not hating on them being proactive, though. Not at all.
So I just want to put this out there. Carter Hart is in the final year of his deal.
That he
so
is.
Maybe that's the reason why they're taking calls on him, because he's going to be looking for a bigger deal. He's going to be an RFA at the end of the year. Nobody's going to be able to sign him but them. And if somebody else signs him and they don't offer him a sheet, they get compensation for it. This way, if you trade Carter Hart now, and I understand why they're taking the calls on him, you're guaranteed something good in return. Compensation may not be as high as if you trade him. So there's that to think about as well. The return will be much higher than any compensation that they would have set up for him. And then the compensation also depends on what level he's on, what tier. So that's another thing to keep in mind too. So, this rebuild is going to be tough because you're going to see a lot of players go that you probably don't want to. But, to Robbie's point earlier, Anaheim's going into year number 8 of their rebuild. Year number 8. Some of these rebuilds take longer than expected. So maybe, you trade Hart now while he's at a peak, and you get a nice little haul back instead of trading him, let's say, 4 years from now when you're halfway through the rebuild and his value is not as high. I hate to say it because I'm with you guys. I love Carter Hart. I think he's a franchise guy, but maybe now is the time that we actually do consider moving on from him and seeing what else is out there. Plus, you have Cal Petersen for another year, and maybe the change of scenery could be good for Cal. I mean, before last year, he had 2 seasons where he had goals against under 3, so we know he can play at the NHL level.
I'm not so sure. I will see. Again, Flyers defense needs a lot of work. So the problem is that I don't know if that's going to help Cal's confidence. I think that might sink it a little bit further.
Or Benny, a member here at A2D over on YouTube, he makes a great point. Maybe they do believe in Ersson way more than we think.
Yeah.
I mean there's a lot of love on Ersson. The pressure's on this guy now. It's like, all right, kid. Let's see how long it takes. I'm going to pull out a stopwatch. I'm going to start now. If Carter Hart gets traded, then we got to pull the stopwatch out, gentlemen, for next season. How long is it going to take before somebody says trade Ersson? How long is it going to take before we hear that? Because if we start hearing that from the same people that have been saying trade Hart, then you have officially devalued yourself as a hockey fan, because that means you absolutely have no clue what you're talking about. So just wanted to make that perfectly clear. If you do this, and I'm going to make that statement right now, if Hart gets traded away and Ersson becomes the new starter, and Ersson does not do nearly as well as you would hope he would have, and we immediately start hearing the trade Ersson talk, I am officially pulling your Flyers cards. You do not belong on the fan base anymore. Get the fuck off. Get the fuck out. We don't need you at the end of the day, because you clearly don't know what the fuck you're talking about at the end of the day.
Well, fortunately, it's not going to be that situation. It's going to be a strict platoon between Ersson and Cal Petersen if Carter Hart is not on this roster in October. So that's I guess you can call that an upside. I could see why teams are big, or why the team is big on Sammy, but in that same breath, I'm not huge on Sammy because in some of those bigger, better, meaner teams, he didn't look good.
No, he did not.
That's my only concern. But 23-year-old goaltender who pretty much just got thrown in the mix because of injuries last year. And yes, he looked good. Build off it. See what he does. He's definitely earned at least a backup job.
So who do you think they would want to trade him to? And I'm gonna tell you a team that I think if if he's available, should be looking at him very, very carefully. That's the Edmonton Oilers.
Ooh, he's been linked to him already.
Has he?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Brunette?
What, we're
Did
gonna
I
get
get
an
Burnett
aging
for
Mike
him?
Smith.
Me and Dylan were talking earlier about it, and he threw out a name. I think his name was Dylan Holloway. Was one of their prospects that he said that they should consider?
What about a decent player, though? Like a player that can play now?
I think they're saying that he can play now.
If you can play now, fine. But if you can't play now, then I'm telling Edmonton to go piss up a rope.
Yeah, no.
I heard
I'm thinking
Ottawa a lot too.
That guy,
Ottawa too, yeah.
that guy Brunette on Edmonton. He's awfully good.
I mean, it's what are they willing to part with? You know what I mean? It's there's a few things. Well, Robbie, come back.
Oh.
I mean, there's a few. Like, I think Buffalo's got a really nice young talent pool to pick from. They got some talent there. They could definitely use a goaltender. So for me, it's Buffalo. I definitely think Ottawa should be considered.
But would they trade him in the conference though?
Yeah, why not?
Well, because if you're in the playoffs, when you're going to the playoffs, you'd end up having to face them.
If they got the best package, why not?
Maybe not.
You get. Yeah,
I mean,
here's the thing. You got to
honestly,
put that stuff out of your mind now, because at this point in time, when a rebuild, you're looking for the best package available. You're not just looking to ship a guy off just because you can't rule out Buffalo because they're in the same conference.
You absolutely have to get a first round pick though.
We
Absolutely.
traded.
I mean, that's
For sure.
maybe 2 first round picks for a guy like him.
Agreed.
I was going to
You know.
say we traded Bob to Columbus, and that was in the conference at that point. So I'm not gonna. I would say they probably would trade to within the conference. Now, would they trade to a division rival? Probably not. They probably wouldn't trade to someone in the Metro. They would probably trade to somebody in the Atlantic.
I mean, I still think that if a team in the Metro offers the best package for him, you have to do it. You have to. There's no question. Like if because Carolina needs a goaltender, if Carolina gives you the best package, why are you going to say no? That's a dumb move. You can't undersell a guy like him.
Carolina.
Here's the thing.
Carolina's not going to give them any of their top players, though. Any of their top young players.
Don't necessarily need to give them top players. Draft picks. Just load it with draft picks and maybe a couple guys that can play in the AHL.
What about sending him to, say, Chicago?
Don't know what Chicago is going to give up. Chicago's in a similar boat, so they want to hold draft picks.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't think Chicago. Yeah, I wouldn't see that deal really being necessary. Let's see. Anthony DeMeo saying you never get value by trading a goalie. Yeah. When did a goalie trade bring back big value? Look at what Montreal got for Patrick Waugh. Well, they didn't get much.
No,
Patrick Hall saying, what about Earson? Well, the pressure will be on him big time if Hart gets traded. Even if he's just put in a platoon, he'll still get a lot of pressure put on him. Joe saying Stanley Cup caliber team, no goalie, 1990 through 2020, Stanley Cup caliber goaltender, no team, 2021 through 2023, 2024 through the future, back to building a Stanley Cup roster with no goalie. Yeah. And let's see. Obi-Wan Kablomi says, sup, y'all, just joining. Sorry if y'all went over it, but what do you think is the price for Hart? Well, we've been talking about that, actually. We've been talking about that right now, as a matter of fact. Honestly, I would want high value for him. And if somebody is not willing to give me high value, then I'm going to tell them to fuck off, quite frankly. Danny has the opportunity to play hardball, and he should play hardball. Play hardball with the best of them right now. This will be a good chance for him to really test the waters of, okay, let's see if you can rattle other GMs. Because now you can. You can say, like, well, we really need a goaltender. It's like, what are you going to give to me? It's like, well, I'll give you this, 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 and that. Pfft, fuck off. It's like, what do you mean? That's like our best trade. No, it's not. You can do better than that. Come back to me when you actually want to start talking about a deal. That's what Danny's got to do now. He's got to be an asshole to the other GMs because you got a very high value player that you're trading now. You got to get something back. Or in other words, everybody's going to look at you and say, yeah, okay, we're not so sure about Danny now. This is a big move for him, and it could make or break him real quick.
No, I
really
kind of
can.
disagree with that. I kind of disagree with that because at some point you have to sit there and you have to be like, okay, we have to compromise here. Can't be an asshole because no GM is going to want to work with you. No GM is going to want to trade with you, and you're going to be stuck with whatever you have. So you have to be somebody that
there's a fine line.
Yeah, there is a fine line, and you have to be able to compromise. And that's the thing too. Is like play hardball, absolutely, but be willing to find some kind of middle ground.
Don't let somebody fleece. Just don't let somebody fleece you, no matter what.
Bingo.
That's what I mean.
Bingo.
Danny's really he's gotta prove that can't happen to him now. So far, Provi, I don't think he did a bad job with that one for the most part. I think you got a good amount of draft picks back. You got a couple of D-men back. And on top of that as well, yes, you get Cal Petersen. So at best, you're getting backup goaltending in there. So I don't think he did terrible putting Ivan Provorov there. And also on top of that, you get the contract off the books, which is important.
Remember,
get contracts off the books.
He's a top 4 defenseman on a good team.
Mm-hmm.
Provorov. He's not a top pairing defenseman. He was
proven that.
Yeah, he was a top pairing defenseman with the Flyers because the Flyers didn't have quality on their back line. But on a good team, he is a 4th defenseman.
Right.
Okay, and
right. So we got something for him. So
to get a first and 2 seconds, in my opinion, is pretty darn good.
Got a lot. You got a
good
holdback.
Hell yeah.
So I mean, if that's a sign of things to come, then I can trust him with this. Yeah, it's like, all right, you pulled off a nice little magic trick with the Provi deal. Let's see what you can do now. Larry's saying, "Come on,
if he can get if he can get 2 top prospects and a first round pick, then he's doing fine."
Right.
Agreed.
Larry's saying, "Come on, guys, love you guys, but the Hart love is mind-boggling. He's an average goalie." I disagree, Larry.
He's a little better than
Hart is not an average goalie, and believe me, we'll find out. Because watch it, he'll be the second coming of Sergei Bobrovsky. We'll trade his ass away to another team. He'll go win some Vezinas, maybe win a cup, maybe not. But at the end of the day, we'll look back on this and we'll say, "Yep, that's the reason why you don't trade your goaltenders." They learned it again because for some fucking reason, this team has a problem with goaltenders. They've always had a problem with them since the day Ron Hextall hung up his skates.
Real quick. Don't you think it's a little ironic that the Flyers have had more success without a franchise goalie than they've ever had with one?
Well, I mean,
just something to think about.
Yeah, but they had Bernie for the 2 cups, and he's a franchise goaltender. And
I meant more recently.
He was an all-time. He was an all-time great goaltender.
Yeah, he was.
But okay, well, in the current age, yes, but I think we also have to remember too. The Flyers did have no salary cap to work with for a good long while, and even when they did, they had enough pieces to trade around and wheel and deal to hotshot their way back into the playoffs. So, if anything, I would say most of it was not luck necessarily. It was more just stacking the deck, which you could do back then.
Luck.
Yeah.
2010 was luck. But yeah, I mean, they also had better defense in front. And to Larry's comment, like that's the only reason why he looks average, because he has an average defense in front of him.
Actually, maybe even below average defense, to be honest with you.
Well, okay, fair enough. Fair enough. All right. We'll agree to that.
How does Bobrovsky look with the way the Marlins, the Panthers have been protecting him?
It's exactly my point.
Against the Golden Knights. Okay, he's looked down. Last night he looked downright shaky.
He did. He was really rattled.
Yeah, he did not. He looked shaky. I mean, I thought that the third goal was a really bad goal for him to give up.
It definitely was. But that's for a little more down the line. But,
but no, I'm just giving you an example.
No, you're right.
A good defense makes good. I mean, listen, as long as what's his name on Vegas, Aiden. What's his last name again?
Adin Hill.
Hill. I mean, he's not that good. Come on. I mean, I'm watching him. I'm laughing. I'm laughing watching him because I know he stinks. Okay, he's about as crappy as that guy Schmidt on the Devils. Okay, but he's having the series of his life.
Whoa. Schmidt at least has an excuse. He's only 22. Adin Hill is not 22.
Adin Hill is like 30, right? Something like that.
Somewhere in there.
He's been around a long time. He's never been any good on any team. He's red hot right now. But in all honesty, I mean, Florida, when they're getting opportunities against him, they're shooting it right at him. They're not roofing the puck. They're not doing anything right.
Hill was great for the Sharks, only playing 5 games, letting Marty Jones take care of 90% of the work. He was great out there. But
well, when you play 5 games a year,
yeah,
it's a little different.
But anyway, back to my point. 20. Okay, he's 27. So yeah, so close enough to 30. But thanks, Robbie, as always. But yeah, anyway, point being, like, you don't have to be spectacular goaltender to win a hockey game. You just have to have a good defense in front, and that's what's been hurting Carter Hart the last couple of years.
Right. I mean, to Larry's point, his stats are right at the mean. We talk about Carter Hart's save percentage, 907. The mean is 904, a little bit above. Goals against, 294. League average, 297, a little bit below. So, once the team rebuilds around him, and 24-year-old, you know what I mean? Like, there's still going to be progression in his game too. But if you want to say, well, look, Danny and Keith say this is what we see him being his max capabilities, no matter what team we're putting in front of him, to commit that amount of money, they want to go elsewhere. I'm starting to get swayed, but it's a tough pill for me to swallow.
I get it. It's a tough pill for any Flyers fan to swallow right now. Anybody who wants to see this team succeed.
Right.
And Ted throwing out the $4.99. Thank you, Ted.
Appreciate you, Ted.
Saying, if we trade Hart, I want a top 6 pick in this draft and more. How many times have we really had franchise goalies? Best show, period. Thanks, bro. We appreciate
That's
it,
supposed
brother.
to be Broad Street Hockey?
I think so. Fuck Broad Street Hockey is what he's saying.
They're not terrible. I actually don't mind Broad Street Hockey. They're not bad.
Oh, but thank you, Ted. And, if Hart could guarantee us a top 6 pick in the draft, I would trade him, but I almost can guarantee you he's not going to secure that. So,
wait, you want a top 6 pick in this year's draft for him?
Yeah, that ain't happening.
Yeah,
no, that's not happening. That's a pipe dream.
You're asking for an awful lot.
Danny's going to be asking for a lot anyway. That would pretty much be the moment the GM hangs up the phone. Be like, yeah, right. Anyway, then he'll tell the other GMs, like, do you believe this clown in Philly trying to freaking try to get a first-round pick in top 6? Yeah, right. Anyway, Ted saying, of course we get the guy between the pipes and we're in rebuild mode. Yeah, that's the
18 and 25, right?
What'd you say?
18 and 25. First round pick between 18 and 25.
For what? Goaltending?
For Hart.
Yeah, you could probably get
Hart?
somewhere probably a little higher.
Yeah. You might.
You might be able to go to top 15.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, hell, look at
maybe
it.
15.
Look at it. Okay, look at it this way. If Danny manages to get a first-round pick out of Hart and we have 3 first-round picks, I can't say that he's done a bad job, because that's 3 that we got right there.
And if it's this year's draft, that's saying something, because there's a lot of good young players in this draft.
Right. That's like, holy shit, maybe we might find a franchise future here in this draft.
I mean, if you could draft the whole line with first round picks, I mean, that would be real nice. You could draft a first line doing that.
I will say,
maybe we could swindle
maybe
we could swindle the Coyotes out of their 6th pick. They want there's been some Arizona fans on Twitter saying they want Connaughton, right? So yeah, give it to them, right? Get that top 6 pick. All right, I can. They kind of owe us one for the Shane Gostisbehere deal.
They do owe you one.
Right. They do. Right?
And you owe
Be
them
like,
one.
listen,
And you owe them
we-
one for what's his
we-
name for that Russian goalie that you got from them a few years ago that you paid $70 million
Brizgalov?
for. Yes.
Well, that was Paul Holmgren being a dipshit. But, you know, and so
The time was a good move. I'm
how
not gonna
about
lie.
this?
He just didn't
I
pan
could just
out.
picture this right now. Backroom deal. He certainly didn't pan out. But in the back room, it's like you can't see anything on the wall. It's got the one light. It's like perfect, smoke filled. You just see Danny there with a cigarette in one hand, just be like, "Come here, my son. Come here. Let's talk." And Arizona Coyotes GM comes in. It's like, "Listen, I can do Carter Hart, but I need Connor Bedard. That's what I need. You can guarantee me that.
God.
I guarantee you Hart. If not, well then, let's just say people go missing."
Oh my God.
That's how the meeting
We see Matty
goes.
go missing. We know why.
It's because I
I'm
was
going to choose to live in
spot on.
reality.
Matty goes missing. We know why.
Oh, come
FBI
on.
found him.
Sure.
FBI found him. Yo, what's up, Jesse? I see Jesse Davis in the comments. I haven't seen him in a while. I see a lot of new names in here. Love
Yeah,
it. For all the new people that are just chiming in tonight for the first time, hit that like, hit that subscribe. We're here all year long, baby. Every Tuesday at 8:30. Let's go.
And he's saying if they pan out, NHL draft picks are notorious hit or misses. There have been plenty.
Yeah.
Alexander Daigle comes to mind. Let's see
Yeah, he was
here.
a number one overall, and I think he wasn't he a Hobie Baker Trophy winner too?
Yes, he was. Yeah, let's see here. He also said earlier, "What's up, guys? I like this trade, but I still hate the Flyers." That's nice.
Even with Jonesy now, how can you hate Jonesy? Everybody loves Jonesy.
I love the management in this team. I like the direction where they're headed, especially after this trade.
Right.
Let me pull up some of the comments here that we had. Typical Canucks fan, Dork666 says, "You guys are lucky for a rebuild. We never even started ours."
It started and ended with Elias Pettersson and Quinn Hughes. That was it.
Oh man, let's see. Devils King fan 67 says, "I think Columbus didn't win the Provorov trade. I think they're not a winning team." Well, we definitely found out this year they weren't a winning team. That's for sure. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough situation for Columbus to get themselves back to that. I mean, yeah, they have Johnny Hockey, right? And then now Provorov, is that gonna? I don't think that's gonna turn that team around. So
Well, listen, they do have some guys who can put the puck in the net.
they have a few.
Yeah, Boone Jenner is pretty good. What's his name? Line A is still pretty good.
Yeah, Lana had a good year.
Yeah, I mean they've got some guys over there, but I mean they really need a goalie in the worst way.
Yeah. Let's see.
Their goaltending is worse than Buffalo's.
John's
True,
saying
a lot.
Yeah, yeah, it's not easy to be that bad, but it is.
there's a Buffalo fan here. He want to smack the shit out of you for daring going against his god Levy. So
Well,
They do have a young
Levy
goaltender. Listen,
Levy did play exceptionally well. He had two great games against the Rangers, by the way.
he played well.
He
Yes.
Yeah, he did. But we'll see. I mean, games in late March are a little different than when you're called up than going the whole season.
Right.
Let's
see.
It's only a small sample size.
Yeah.
John saying, before being disappointed in Danny with a Hart move, I want to see what we get in return. I didn't think we would get this much for Provi. I think Hayes' move is next. That would be nice. If anybody
you're gonna have to attach a draft pick to get rid of him, though.
Maybe that's what Danny's doing. Maybe Danny is trying to get another number one overall pick, and maybe he's trying to say, "Hey, listen, you take Hayes, and I give you this pick."
No, it can't be a number
first
one.
round.
It could be a number two, though.
I'm just saying
I don't think they're getting more than a third rounder for Kevin Hayes.
No,
I
mean
no.
I
I don't mean what
they're
the
going to have to
Flyers.
give up a second. The Flyers are going to have to give up a second round pick for somebody to take Kevin Hayes because of his salary.
But that's the other thing too. Is like maybe they won't even take him for a second. Maybe you have to take him. You have to give him a first. It wouldn't be pleasant, but makes it much more tempting for a team to swallow that than a second round alone. I don't know if they do it for just a second round.
I don't think it's even going to take that much to take on Kevin Hayes because teams had interest. I think the big selling point here for trading a guy like Kevin Hayes is how much of the contract are you going to take? You're going to probably have to take at least 50% of it. You're going to have to eat that. I don't think you're going to need to attach a high pick. I think maybe a fourth could do it, but you're not getting anything over a third back for him.
Or that god awful conditional pick.
Oh, that god awful! Oh my gosh, Robbie, that makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why would you let that be the condition? Explain.
In case anybody out there didn't read the fine print on that other pick that we got from Columbus, the conditional pick. So it's in the 2024 draft, not this year's draft, next year's draft. After Columbus selects their first round pick, they have the option to make that pick for the second round of that year's draft or 2025, depending on how their pick goes in the first draft.
So what we're saying is we're leaving it up to Columbus whether or not they fuck us. Is basically what we're saying here.
That's how I took it. Yep.
Reportedly, I mean, all this stuff we're talking about on this whole show, none of this is official. Am I correct in that?
The Provorov deal is a done official deal.
Oh, okay.
So that's
okay.
finalized.
But I mean, in
It's a
terms
done
of
deal.
some of these stuff. Okay. All right. So there's no stipulations left. Okay.
Yeah. Everything's been finalized.
So we're picking in 2025, obviously. That is not going to be a 2024 because why the fuck would Columbus allow that to be a 2024?
Not necessarily true. Not necessarily true. Like I told Robbie, it's going to depend on two things for Columbus to give up the 24. One was draft position, wherever they are. Two, the quality of the draft class and where Columbus is sitting. So that could sway him to be like, okay, we're good here. Take the 24. But if they're in good draft position and they were shitty again this year, yeah, I guess I can still say this year coming up.
Sure.
They may turn that into 25. We'll have to wait and see, but I think that condition is kind of a little too funny for me.
That's you're giving way too much power to Columbus there. Benny's saying have to think Jones has a pulse on the league and what they think of Hart, which is why the move for Hart will be made now. It's a good point. I mean, Jones is talking with a lot of guys, knowing a little bit more than maybe the average person coming in.
Oh God, yeah. He's probably talked to every GM in the league.
Right.
Let me throw this out here real quick. Carter Hart obviously is making just shy of $4 million this year as a cap hit, as an RFA going into next season. And I saw somebody say something about Felix Sandstrom. He's going to be a UFA. They may let him walk. I forget who brought up that comment, but yeah, they're probably going to let him walk. But as far as Carter Hart goes, he's going to want a raise.
There's a wild card in this whole equation too, and that's Fedotov.
True. True.
Very talented goalie from the KHL, but status in limbo.
Yep.
Right. Rob Brinkman saying, cool, franchise goalie on a last place team. Doesn't get you anything.
Doesn't necessarily have to get you anything.
I don't think he's reached franchise status yet. It's all potential at this point.
Mm-hmm. Again, this is going to be another season where the Flyers aren't going to be worried about wins and losses. It's going to be another season where you're worried about player development. That's what the rebuild's all about. That's why you take on bad contracts. That's why we're taking on. What do you mean you kicked my ass? Sorry, ADD kicked in. Joe, what are you talking about? What do you mean you kicked my ass last night? Pete kicked my ass last night. That's because his trigger finger was a little bit faster than mine. That's what the rebuild's all about. You take on bad contracts to get draft capital. Draft capital turns into young player. Young talent turns into a bright future. Should you draft properly?
Keyword
Check
there.
the comments. Should.
Check
the comments. I'm too busy for that right now, brother. I'll check them later. Hey, listen, I couldn't look at any of the comments last night. I wasn't allowed to. They could frown me for cheating. Which, by the way, I'm still pissed off at that Star Wars question.
Well,
Star Wars question.
Yeah,
Hit you with a Star Wars question last night?
actually, Bryce should know because Bryce is a big Star Wars fan.
it was a trick freaking question.
Well,
I'm kind of pissed off about it.
What was
The question was something along. It was a fandomonium. It's a fandom question. It's just a random question in a random category.
Oh,
What
okay.
was the question?
It was something along the lines of what in which episode of Star Wars did Luke "I am your father" get quoted in, or something like that. And Pete guessed wrong, and I guessed it was episode 5, Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, no. Apparently the line was not Luke, "I am your father." So it was a trick question, and I got it wrong because that line never in the movie. So
No, that's true actually, because technically the line is "No, I am your father."
that's
But that is so ticky tacky.
he took
Oh,
the points
wow.
off.
That's very ticky tacky. Okay, that's a dick question right there. That's an asshole question.
I'm telling you, you got to ask Joe. I was so confident when I said it, and I was so mad when they took that.
That's an asshole question, though. You know what? Who wrote that? Was that Vespi's question?
It was either Vespi or Ritz. I can't remember. Which
I'll be honest with you. Whichever one it was, I gotta give him a bravo on that one because that was a dick move. But you know what? I dig it. That's a good one. I like it.
It was good. It was good. It was fun time last night. Pete kicked my ass though.
So your undefeated streak is over.
Yeah.
All right,
You win
Penguin
that bet,
guy.
Robbie. All right,
Penguin God
we went a
Crosby
little-
fan 100 saying.
Maybe we went a little too late last night, and you just got tired, and you were tired last night.
Maybe.
I was amped up. I was ready to
Maybe
beat
it
Pete.
was.
Oh, okay.
I was amped
All right.
up.
Well, we're trying to get you off the hook, Bri.
No, I'm eating crow on this one. This was me. The loss was on me. I'm not gonna come up with an excuse. Tip my hat to Pete.
So who makes up the questions, by the way?
Frank and Andy.
Yeah, because I had some pretty good ideas for hockey questions.
Send them over.
Yeah, there a lot of lines had nicknames. So if you put it, yeah, like you can put in a couple of easy ones, like who was on the Legion of Doom. Okay, that's an easy one. Or who was the French Connection? That's an easy one.
That was
Or
actually
you
one of
could
the
say-
questions last night.
Okay, or you could put, or you could start making it harder. Who was on the gag line? Who was on the production line? And who was on the Long Island Lighting Company?
Yeah, and then you could also do who was on that 70s line in LA.
Yeah.
So yeah, send some of those questions over. I'm sure they'll use some of them.
Yeah, because I think there's some that are, as I said, there's some that are, you got to throw a couple of bones that are easy. But I mean, we all, the four of us, know probably the answer to all of those. I mean, the Long Island Lighting Company, you know right away. Okay, that's an Islander line, and if you've watched hockey at all in the 70s or even read up on it in the slightest way, that's a pretty easy question.
Right.
But if you're not really a hockey fan, you're not going to know that from Adam.
So, Penguin God Crosby fan 100 saying, as much as I hate Philly, Briere and Jones are the right guys for a rebuild. Plus, Hart, you could trade him to Edmonton for Skinner or Vegas for Thompson and get good value and a first-round pick.
Yeah, but they're all the way down in the bottom, though.
This draft, I don't think it really matters as long as it's one for this year.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah.
Depressed Oilers fan 978 saying, I wouldn't mind trading Skinner for Hart. I don't think you would. I would be shocked if you would. I'd be real shocked if you wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, but you're also going to have to give up a first, and you're probably going to have to give up one of your good young scorers on your second or third line. And it has to be somebody that's relatively young, in their early 20s. Because don't forget, you still have to get a couple of veterans. You have to keep a couple of veterans so that these guys can play with, that'll make them play better.
And Nick
I wouldn't be so
Strychak.
quick to trade Hayes, by the way.
Hmm?
I wouldn't be so quick to trade Kevin Hayes, by the way.
Why? If you
yeah.
can get something back for him.
Cap relief. You got to
But
get some.
Yeah, you really do
Right
need
now,
it.
right now, who is it that you want to get? On the cap.
Oh, well, here's the thing.
What
Getting rid of
free agent do you
Hayes
want?
is strictly a cap move. It's not even necessarily like, do we want to get a shit ton back for him? No, we want to get something decent back, but we really just need him to get the fuck off the books. That's what we really need. We just need that salary gone because it's a nasty, nasty contract.
Flyers have 3-4 guys they have to sign.
Right. And
Noah
most of
Cates.
them are young.
Yeah, Noah Cates, Cam York, Morgan Frost, and if they want to, Kiefer Bellows. Those are the 4 RFAs this year.
Don't they have enough to
get
sign
re-signed.
them?
I would let Bellows probably walk. But still, the other 3, no, you absolutely should be looking at them and signing them.
They're probably looking at probably between 2.5 to 3.5 million a piece.
Right.
Okay, and they probably and you could also give them one of those bridge contracts for 2 or 3 years too.
Probably could.
Yeah,
But the question is are they going to want that? Noah Cates,
Well,
you might be able to get it.
when they're French, when they're first done with their ELCs. I mean, how much of a choice do they really have?
Depends on what they did. I mean, they will be a restricted free agent, so you have to trade their rights away just for another team to even sign them. And then obviously we
Right.
know the offer sheet. Of course, the Flyers were involved in the infamous offer sheet to Shea Weber. But
Thank God they didn't sign him.
that was fucking crazy. What was that, like 11 years, I think it was? And it was a shit ton of money on top of it.
Oh, Shea
Right
Weber.
off that price.
Yeah. How smart do the Flyers look now after not getting that deal done? You want to talk about shitty contract?
That
Thank
fucked Nashville
God.
down the line so bad too.
One good call out of 20 doesn't make it okay, Brian.
That's a good point. That's a bad batting average right there.
It was even the GM
Speaking
at
of
that
batting
point. Was that-
average, Arise just went over 400, batting 401.
Well, speaking of that, your Mets, they actually made probably the best move they've ever made in the history of the Mets, not signing DeGrom.
Yeah. Big
Yeah,
news
he's done.
today. Texas.
Yeah, that was terrible news.
Yep.
Well, we
Very
got
terrible. Very
Nick
terrible.
Strychars saying if the Danny didn't inherit a cap nightmare, which he did, I believe a 3-5 year rebuild was realistic. Think it could take 6 to 10.
I'll take
Oh,
that.
He's going full
I don't think
decade.
that's-
Oh, damn, full
that's-
decade
That's
rebuild.
too long. 3 years it should take if you do it right.
I still think it'll take about.
I guarantee if
But
it
you
takes
have
6
to-
to 10 years, I'm not seeing a cup. The way I live, no. No. 6 is just irrelevant, and then no.
Oh my God, that's funny.
Please, Lord.
To thank you now.
I just be like the Flyers will be actually in the playoffs. They'll be up 3-0 in the final. And then it'd be like, God damn it. I'd be rushing over to the hospital. I'd be ready to choke the doctor. I was like, you son of a bitch. You're supposed to keep him alive.
Dude,
this is
I'd be
the
like
Flyers.
Jason Statham and Crank, dude. I'll stay alive for that. I'll stay alive for that.
Got to get that adrenaline going. That's all.
Yeah.
Well, just have sex in public and it'll work. So there.
With Amy Smart too, which
Correct.
If that doesn't recharge the batteries, I don't know what will. So let's see here. Benny Station with the Jonesy comment. And let's see here. Plenty of others. Do love this chat is wow. The fam exploded today. Love it. Love it. It is awesome right now.
You got a lot going on here in the chat. Love it.
Leafs fan, love Sens now 123 saying, I don't know if Hart would help us though. Commenting obviously about the connection with Ottawa.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't think Hart could hurt. Honestly,
No, not at all. Young defense there. You got pretty much a young team set up, and obviously familiar with Claude Giroux. Just send the Brinket
That would
guy.
be a good fit. What about with Detroit? Do you think he'd be upgrade over Husso?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think about the same book. I think they're about the same. So maybe you create a good tandem there.
better than Nedeljkovic.
Well, yeah.
By the way, speaking of people who look like geniuses now, Rod Brindamore looks like a fucking king for not doubling down on Nedeljkovic and moving on past him when he came out of nowhere for the Hurricanes. So
Yeah.
It's like, damn, okay. Brendy knows what the fuck he's doing. All right.
Not Rob, baby. He always knows.
Right. And let's see, Anthony saying, personally, Urson is a backup and Petersen is the starter, and the Flyers want to get younger. Look for the future. I have a feeling down the line Hart will flame out. If he does flame out and the Flyers traded him, then Danny looks like a fucking genius. I will say that. But I just don't think that'll happen, honestly.
You put him on a good defensive team, and you're going to see something pretty special with him. I think he's got a lot of ability, that guy.
Right.
I mean, I'll tell you what. When they made the playoffs in the bubble, he really played well.
And I just realized something. You know who they could possibly go to? They could call the old Colorado Avalanche and just say, "Hey, you want Hart?" You could actually work with them. And think about it.
Give me what I want.
Take back.
I'm gonna have a Batista moment. Give me what I want, Alex Newhook. Give me what I want.
Yeah,
Give me what I want.
You'd probably have to take Georgiev back, but you could probably get some draft picks from him.
Right. I mean, honestly, if I could see a realistic landing spot, you know what? Colorado probably wouldn't mind having Hart because they just suffered a first round out to Seattle from their former goalie. So I think they would probably want to avoid something embarrassing like that happening again. So yes, they were hurt, but still. All right.
Boy,
Let's see. Swoopy here saying, best package. Who cares if it's within the conference or division? Get the best package. Come on, Brad.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
And I don't agree with Ryan that much.
Well, if you make them overpay, yes. Like if you make them pay a tax because they're in the same division, okay. Then I'm okay with that.
It's like it's a division rival tax. It's like, listen, we deserve extra picks. We demand them for the tax.
It's like the Yankee tax when the Yankees have to trade with somebody. The Yankees, they have to give up a couple of extra prospects just because.
Oh, Robbie, your mic's muted.
I'm still muted. Damn it. Real quick, now that you can hear me and Ryan Swoopy is here, I want to say, Ryan Swoop, phenomenal job on the Eagles podcast. I just saw him on. Kid knows what he's talking about. Sounded good. Looked the part. We got to have him up on the show, man.
Hell yeah! I would love to have Swoopy here.
He's been trying.
Well, hopefully we'll be able to get Swoopy in on here and he can make a personal appearance on the Hockey Happy Hour. So let's see here. El Nordique 76 saying, so here's a good question. How long did it take for Buffalo to build their team in the 90s and the 2000s? Well, they started in, the early 90s? And they had some success, but I think it really didn't pick up until the late 90s was really when it started working for them in a real good way because was it 97? They were in the playoffs, 98. Yeah, 99, they went to the finals. So, I mean, it was the late 90s, really, when they started getting the fruits of the labor was starting to bear out there.
And Danny watching that go down. So, he has experience of what it takes, right?
Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So let's see here. Nick Strychar's saying, Swoopy, I just don't think Comcast cares and they ultimately control how the rebuild goes.
I disagree with that. I think they do care. They want to make money too, you know. You know, they don't make money if nobody's watching.
And they just changed their, I guess you can call him Flyers representative. So it's Dan Hilferty now, I think it is. David Hilferty.
Yeah. If you want to say that comment about Brian Scott, you got it. All right. But Dan has showed an interest in this team. They've shown a good, like I read you that, yeah, baby. Francisco Lindor home run. Anyway, good to see him bust out and freaking slumping.
At least we didn't get no hit, by the way. We lost 3-2.
Good.
No hit. No hitter. Thank God.
Good. But to stay on the point real quick, right? You know, the brain trust, they're really forming that between Briere, Jones, Hilferty, and Torts. And I think, you know, I'm liking what I'm hearing, I'm liking what I'm saying. Let's be short with it.
Agreed.
Let's see. Larry thinking, just think Hart's numbers are going to get worse next year. Value.
Fuck the Braves.
Lower.
Fuck the Braves.
Finally, something we can agree on.
Let's see.
Now, if only both of y'all could lose and we can gain some ground.
El Nordique saying Flower for Hart. Fleury? Why would we want Fleury? They'd be, I mean, I get it, we're rebuilding, but it's like Fleury be retired in 2 weeks. Be funny as hell. I mean, it would be hilarious to actually see Fleury in a Flyers jersey. I'm like, it would almost be
it'd be purely to troll the Penguins.
Right. That's it.
But let's think about this logically here for a second. Who would you better to mentor Urson?
I mean, okay, that's a good point.
Small contract too. Doesn't he have a very minuscule contract with the Wild?
Itty bitty. He's on a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
And he did say he wanted to come back and play next year, I believe. He did say he wasn't retiring.
But you'd have to give up a little bit more than just Marc-Andre Fleury.
Right.
Obviously. But I would, if that was a rumor, I would entertain it. I would absolutely entertain that because of
Ryan Hartman back to Philadelphia. Yes.
not after the year he had last year.
I know.
No,
actually,
the year before. I'm with you, Rob.
Actually, to be honest with you, be like, listen, just throw Hartman in, and maybe throw in Greenway. Just saying, you want
Greenway
Hart?
got traded. He's not in Minnesota.
Greenway's
anymore.
on the Capitals now, isn't he?
Oh, that's right. He did get traded. I forgot about that. Damn. Oh well, this was.
How about Matt Zuccarello? and then you can bust our chops.
There you go.
Good for 25
round.
I wish he was still on the Rangers.
We'll bring in a former Penguin, bring in a former Ranger, and a used-to-be Flyer is coming back to town. It is a trifecta of Philadelphia goodness right there.
We'll grab Adam Henrique from Brian's Ducks.
Right. Former devil.
No. He's staying put. If I had to say, but I don't. So.
Which you don't. So
he's apparently like one of the top 10 guys on the trade list before the draft. So we'll see what happens.
Wait a minute, is Parise still on the Wild? We'll go for him then.
Right.
Another
former devil. There you go.
Oh, Islanders. That's right.
The Islanders. There's another one.
Yeah, Islanders. It's all right. We'll just grab him from the Islanders. That takes care of the Islanders side of things. Now we need to go grab a Blue Jacket and a Hurricane, and we'll be good. We'll have the whole damn set then.
Wait, hang on. Time out. Holy shit. Pete Alonso has 22 home runs already?
Yeah. Yes, he does.
I hate him so much. That was a big home run. That was a shot.
That wasn't a cheap one either. That was way up in the left field seats.
Oh, cool. I just saw it. Nice. Streaming in the studio.
Oh, nice.
And El Nordique saying, I think Fleury would look great in a Flyers uniform. It'd be very interesting to see him in a Flyers jersey.
Weird.
So would his helmet be like him in a Flyers jersey like putting a stake through a penguin. Like, I mean, come on, this is hilarious if he did something like that.
Sure.
Probably wouldn't be though, to be completely honest with you. Although it would be nice to see.
No, it would be funny.
You know, it would be even funnier, and this will probably be tragically true. The Penguins will like put a 7 spot on his ass when he's playing for us. That'll probably be what happens.
He'll have a little mural of Drew taking
Let's
Crosby into
see.
the boards. Hey, it's the only cue left you can have. Give it to me.
Right. I am not going to shit on Petersen if he plays like he did in Buffalo when he was in his early 20s, like Hart was. He was a really good goalie.
Yeah, you could even say that his not this past season, but this 2 seasons before, he played really well for the Kings. So you don't even got to go back that far. But he took a huge step backwards this year. He only wound up playing 10 games, I think, with the Kings before getting sent down.
Yeah, he was.
True.
Was not good
And Benny's saying bigger question. Bigger question is, if Hart knows he is on the block, how does he perform knowing he could be moved? One position where you have to be all in mentally, and that is a net.
Well, if he wants to be
divas.
If he wants to be moved,
Right.
he'll be playing great because he wants to get traded.
Well, yeah, from that perspective, sure. But anytime, you get in like we saw what the pandemic did to him. You know what I mean? Like, so if he's hearing all these trade rumors and thinking that they're true, I think it would negatively impact his game for certain. But I don't think he's reading Flyers Nation. You know what I mean? Like, he's probably talking with his general manager, with his coach, and being in the know in that regard. So we don't know what they're talking about.
Well, you also got to think of it this year, or you think of it this way too. He's playing for a contract.
Yeah.
So he's going to be all in.
This is his walk year. So not technically because he's a restricted free agent, but he's still
it's the same point. He's still playing for a contract.
Yeah, he's playing to make more money. So he's going to be all in this year.
So what would happen if the Flyers fans say he's a franchise goalie and he goes somewhere else and flame out? I think all Flyers fans would say we dodged a bullet. I think that would pretty much be what the whole consensus would be at that point. So we're saying either way, Bob would still be here, wouldn't still be here. That was over 12 years ago. I mean, it's not so much that if he would still be or he wouldn't be. The fact that he had some of his best years on another team and he could have had some great years on Philly, that's where the frustration comes in. It's
right.
like, yeah, I love Mace, but Mace was not Bob. Bob was better than him, and we all know that.
And he had success with Columbus, and then moved on to Florida. So yeah, that's a great point, Swoop. Who's to say he would still be here if we didn't involve him in that deal? Elsewhere.
They could have got him as a free agent. They could have paid him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's kind of where I'm
thinking.
They
chose not to.
Where Swoopy's thinking too is like, come his free agent year. We think about how much money he's making right now.
Probably not a lot.
He's making $10.5 million.
Who?
Bobrovsky.
Oh, Bobrovsky. Yeah, he's making a lot. I thought you meant Hart.
No, he's just shy of 4.
Yeah, I would think. Yeah, I was thinking between 2.5 and 3.5. But okay, yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, he's just shy of 4. But yeah, I mean, it's a good point. Who says that Bob would still be here? He may have wound up in Florida regardless. So.
Yeah, I got you. And let's see. We also have.
It's hard to keep guys out of Florida because the tax advantages. I mean, it is what it is, man. These guys. If you're making $10.5 million a season, okay, if $10.5 million a season in Philly is I'm sorry, $10.5 million a year in Florida is probably $7.5 million in Philly, with the city taxes and the state taxes and all that other crap that goes on.
Jeremy Ben Israel, what's going on? Saying, I don't like it, but I will understand if they trade Hart. And we talked about Sandstrom's status, where he is a UFA. And then Benny's follows up saying, as long as Danny fixes our inability to develop players, none of this matters unless this gets fixed.
Benny's right.
That is a good point. Can't deny that. All right. So we thank everybody for throwing out their comments on this. Very, very much love it. The chat has been very much killing it so far. So keep those comments rolling in. We got plenty of guys chiming in, like John Malmo saying, since we are looking at a 3-year rebuild, who is the 24 draft for goalie? And would you take Matvei Michkov or Will Smith this year? I don't know about Michkov. I've heard conflicting issues with him. But be interesting if they take Will Smith.
Will Smith probably won't fall out of the top 5.
Let's see
but
here.
Michkov is a very good player, and he can score. But the problem is he's not going to be in the NHL until at least 26. So you're going to be waiting another 3 years for the kid, plus any development that he may or may not need. So you're looking at quite a long time before you see him in the NHL. So it's just a question of whether or not you can wait for him or not. And I don't think the Flyers are in that position.
No, and I don't think the Flyers are going to want to tank
Right,
like that.
I got you.
No.
And let's see here. Me Metal Mike saying Hart gets traded to Tampa and learns from Vazzy. And then Tampa goes on to win 3 more cups. Or no, I'm sorry, they go to 3 more finals and then they win another 2.
Well, we appreciate all the
Creating
comments,
one of the
even ones that we
greatest
didn't get
dynasties in history.
You guys have been explosive in the comments tonight.
And
so
also,
we
they
appreciate
beat the Rangers
everybody.
twice in the Eastern Conference Finals to get to those cup finals.
They did. They did.
Absolutely.
But,
we appreciate you guys. Thank you very much, fam.
Yeah, like Maddie said, keep the comments going. Let's keep this conversation rolling. We got to get to some Stanley Cup talk.
That we do. So before we dive into that, let's jump into our second period spur. Second period sponsor is Gleason's Bar. If you got any desire to get some good food around the area, then Gleason's Bar is the place to go. 6700 Mill Creek Ave, Levittown, PA. Use the promo code A2D for 10% off your order whenever you dine in, go take out, or you go online at gleasonsbarandsteaks.com. It'll be worth it. They got some great food over there. So check them out. Order online, save some money, and enjoy yourself some good food while watching Stanley Cup Finals game, possibly. All right, then. So speaking of that, let's dive into it, gentlemen. The Stanley Cup Finals has been in full swing. 2 games in the books, and if you're the Florida Panthers, I hope they got the license plate number for the truck they got ran over by, because God damn, that was merciless. Vegas is not getting paid by the hour. They want this finals over now. They don't want it over in 2-3 weeks. They want it done now.
Want them lap dances.
So what do you do now if you're Florida? Right. They want to get to the Stanley Cup final champion lap dances.
Free.
I get it. I mean, they're
Is
probably
that
free
the
all the
Stinky
time for them.
Pinky?
Ew. I don't think I want to know what that is.
Isn't that the name of the bar?
Oh. I don't know the name of the bar, but one of the bars in Vegas is offering free lap dances for the Knights for life if they win the cup this year.
Yeah, the Stinky Pinky.
I'm trusting you on that one. I didn't catch that.
That's the name of the bar.
I believe you.
The Stinky Pinky. I love that name. That's a good fucking name right there. Well
Listen,
done.
I'm not smart enough to come up with something like that. So,
all right, gents.
I mean, that's a whole new. I mean, that whoever thought of that name, that's a whole new atmosphere of rudeness.
I could never.
So, John, you have a great night, brother.
Peace out, John.
Peace out.
All right. So, after 2 games in the books, Florida trying to scrape themselves off of the pavement after getting run over here. Now they go back down home to Sunrise after being a road warrior team, as many would say, that got completely shattered. That whole smoke screen got completely blasted. Now the question is, how does Florida respond here in games 3 and 4? They've got home ice, but the thing is that they got to win both games. You can't lose one. You have to win both against Vegas
absolutely.
if you want to stand a chance here. I know they came back down from 3-1 in the first round against Boston, but let's just call it what it is. Boston didn't take them seriously, and Boston choked. That's what they did at the end of the day. Even their fans didn't take them seriously. They were so arrogant they chanted, "We want the cup," 5 seconds into the series. So, right. So
they're also going up against a red hot.
What do you think,
goalie.
gents? What's got to happen here in games 3 and 4?
This is the big thing.
Yes, Brian?
Matthew Tkachuk needs to get himself under control. His emotions are way too high right now, and he's getting himself in a lot of trouble. He has 3 10-minute misconducts in 2 games. He needs to get himself under control. Him not being on the ice is not going to help the Florida Panthers. Being on the power play constantly is going to help the Vegas Golden Knights, and you see that it is, and Jonathan Marchessault is having a field day.
Yes, he is.
That's the big thing. They need to get disciplined, and they need to get back on their game. Game 1 was fine. Game 1, they looked good. You know, they went back and forth with Vegas. It was a physical game. It was entertaining, a lot of energy, a lot of chances going both ways. Emotions got way too high in Game 2. They need to settle themselves back down. They have to get back to their game. They have to figure out ways to get more pucks on net and get back into that prime scoring chances that they had in Game 1. But Tkachuk has to be on the ice for 60 minutes.
Right. And that was the fear, right, Brian, with Tkachuk coming to Florida, that, you know, he has that hot temper, can take that undisciplined call in a key moment of a game. We hadn't seen it up until now, but I think that third period in Game 1 really frustrated him. It wasn't even game leading up to that 3-goal barrage from Vegas Golden Knights, and it really carried over into Game 2.
It really did. And you saw the cheap shot that he took on, I think it was Pietrangelo. Yeah, it definitely carried over. I mean, I get you kind of want to defend the hit on Gudas. I get that. But come on, like, you're taking undisciplined, flat out emotional penalties in the worst possible time.
Right.
You're in the Stanley Cup Finals. 4 wins and you have it. 2 losses and you're done. And you get swept. I don't necessarily think who was it? Who did I see? Somebody said that they ran out of gas. I think it was El Nordique.
It was El Nordique.
Yeah, so I don't necessarily think they ran out of gas. I just think they're just playing with too much emotion right now, and they're getting themselves into trouble, and they're giving up too many chances to Vegas. Like I said, Game 1, they look good. Both teams look good. It's a great game. Game 2, not so much. If they can center themselves and get back to playing their game, I think Florida can find a way to climb back into this. But Tkachuk has to be on the ice, and he has to stop taking these 10-minute misconduct penalties because the refs are looking for it now. And they're going to look for any reason to kick him out of the game.
The problem, and to allude to that, yeah, discipline broke down. Florida, unfortunately, very emotional team. Unfortunately, this is the other thing too, is it seems like they were trying to rattle Vegas a little bit by throwing out the body, and Vegas just said, what the fuck is this? Like, this was intimidating. Like, this ain't intimidating, boys. You got to work a lot harder than that to get us rattled. Vegas has taken everything Florida threw at them and said, yeah, this ain't scaring us. And I think that kind of caught Florida off guard, because clearly they rattled Carolina and then they rattled Toronto. They definitely rattled Toronto. And they came back on Boston with that, that underdog spirit. They were just firing on all cylinders saying, we're not losing. We're not losing. fuck these guys. That was pretty much what the Panthers were like in the first round. Seems like they're still trying to pull the same shit with Vegas here that they pulled on the last 2 rounds, and it's not working. Vegas just like, no, it's not working. You guys actually have to try and beat us. You can't just beat us physically. You got to beat us at the game if you want to win this series. So now Florida really has to figure out, okay, we can't intimidate these guys. There's no intimidation with them. We got to get back to basics. We got to make this shit our game, and we got to start playing a much more disciplined, more solid game, and we have to make Vegas have to come after us. We cannot be chasing them. And that's what they've been doing. They've been chasing after Vegas, and Vegas just like, hey, this is what we love. Keep it up. Just keep on getting frustrated because we'll just keep scoring on you.
They got away from what has got him here, and that's that tenacity being on them like, like a fly, on the wall, like just not giving them a minute to move. And they lost that intensity. And that's why maybe some people think they lost some gas, but I think it's been more that they've been getting caught up in the emotions of the game rather than their assignments.
Yeah,
right.
Playing too much on the penalty kill.
Right. And that doesn't help anything because you keep putting yourself behind the 8 ball. You stay on that penalty kill all day long, you're just going to get burnt. That's what you're doing, basically.
Well, they had 3 power plays in a row, guys. 3 in a row.
Right.
I'm talking about Florida, okay? And they couldn't score, and they had ample opportunities.
Right.
They're making lousy shots. I mean, the Cousins play was a perfect example, okay? He had the whole net to shoot at, okay, and he just sticks his stick out and gets a little deflection. You gotta slam that baby home.
Right.
It's
Exactly.
just, it's kind of like it's kind of like they're getting their opportunities. They're getting plenty of shots, but you know what? When they're getting open nets, and instead of putting it in the open net, they're shooting it right back into the goaltender each time, or they're not getting the stick down fast enough, or the shot's too slow. Just there's a lot of puck luck involved with this too. I don't think they're getting any of the bounces, but I think Florida needs, number one, they need to score first. I mean, no question that they cannot fall behind this Vegas team. Vegas is too good defensively, and they're too quick for them to put them in a situation where they got to play catch up with that team. Because if they play catch up with that team, and they start giving up odd man rushes, Vegas seems to thrive on that stuff. And that's how they basically destroyed Dallas. Dallas would get behind, and then they would make 1 or 2 mistakes, and all of a sudden, instead of it being 1-0, it'd be 3-0.
Yeah,
and then 4-0. That's what's happening to Florida right now.
Yeah, I mean, Florida scored first in game 1. That's why I think that was Florida's best game, is because they beat Adin Hill early, and it was something to build off of. Like you're alluding to here, Brad, they have a very good defense in Vegas. There's a reason why they got as far as they have.
Oh, really good. I mean, they block so many shots, but when Vegas is getting opportunities, they're scoring. It seems like every time they get an open, really good look at Bobrovsky, they're scoring. And it seems like when Florida gets a really good look, Adin Hill is right there for the save. And they're not shooting to corners. They're shooting right into the middle of the net, and he's right there for it every time. They're not getting guys in front to screen them. And Bobrovsky is getting screened on almost every shot. Tampa Bay, Vegas is so aggressive with putting guys in front of the net. It's very, very hard to get to make saves against them. Because you could see how Bobrovsky's like fighting to see the puck almost all the time once they get set up in that zone, and that they've got to be able to keep Vegas out from in front of the net,
right?
Without taking
and get out of the way themselves too. Their own defenders have been blocking his eyes way too much, and they recognize that and need to make that adjustment for Game 3.
Yeah, exactly, and they've got to get more traffic in front of the net in their offensive zone. That's the other problem, and they're not doing it.
So, Joe saying Knights are 7-0 all time versus the Florida and versus the Panthers in Vegas, which is interesting.
Very, very
On
good
the
stuff
road.
there, Joe.
Yeah, and also me Metal Mike said Toronto choked also. Toronto just they were not ready for Florida at all.
Death,
Those,
death, taxes, and Toronto choking in the playoffs.
those guys who were those guys who were chanting "We want Florida" at the end of that Tampa series. Oh my God, they're gonna be memed forever. It's like, yeah, look at these idiots. We want Florida. Yeah, no, you didn't. No, you fucking didn't.
You asked for it.
Right. And let's see here. And let's see, Michael Goldberg saying Gaines is a right-handed shot also.
Yes, I failed to mention that.
And me Metal Mike saying swept twice in a cup. Yep, and it would be the second time. 96, they didn't win a single game in that series either. Ironically, an underdog run too. So yeah, right now they're sitting at a whopping 6-0 in their Stanley Cup Finals record. It's or 0-6. That's 6-0. That'd be something everybody would want. Yeah, 0-6. Ooh, that's not pretty. So with the way that this is going, I believe, yeah, here it is. Penguin God Crosby fan saying, sit Bob and have Alex set up in net or step up in net. Do you guys see them doing that? I mean, Bob did look rattled in game 2 there. He looked like he was having a hard time. But that one bad shot that happened, you let 3 straight goals in on a few shots. It's enough to get you thrown out. So now the question is, do you see them going with Lyon? Do you see them trusting Lyon now to carry the load here? Or do you think they go back to Bob in game 3?
I think they stay with Bob. I think at this point you have to stick with what's worked so far. I think a lot of what, like I said, Florida's issues has come from is staying out of the box. Again, that's going to be key for game 3, and that's huge for them because it's really been their downfall. Matthew Tkachuk having 36 penalty minutes in 2 games is inexcusable. I don't care who you are. It's an absolute joke, honestly. And I'm a Tkachuk fan, but he's been an absolute joke with his emotions. But if they can do that, they stay out of the box, Bob should be fine. You know, you're given too many, like Brad was saying, too many odd man rushes, too many power play opportunities. As a goaltender, you can only handle so much.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't agree with you more, Brian. I think absolutely not. I think they absolutely go back to Bobrovsky. Coach Paul Maurice came out and expressed plenty of confidence in Bob moving forward into the game, stating that he is our starter. You got to remember, he backstopped the Panthers to the final by winning 11 of his last 12 games. And during that span, he stopped 438 made 438 saves out of 465 shots, which is a 195 goals against and a 942 save percentage. Has it been bad for about 4 periods? Yeah, I don't think that's enough to move away from him at this point. If you go down 3-0 and you got to try something to shake it up, okay, I could see that a little bit more. But I think I have a different way that game 3 is going to roll out. We'll get that in the shootout.
I like it.
So with that, hi Eileen, how's it going? And
this Hot Rod's not here, Eileen. We would have liked to seen that.
Right. Anthony's saying Bob had his 15 seconds of fame and now he folded. We'll see.
Really? We really saying that right now? He had one bad game and we're calling it he's done? Like, stop.
Yeah.
Come on, Ant.
That's a little rough.
But a sub-2 goal.
What's up, Bryce?
I'm
in the Stanley
saying.
Cup playoffs.
And now he's done. He's done. Sticking a fork in him.
What? Come on.
We'll see. I'm not so sure.
Anthony,
about
you're better
that.
than that.
Goalies,
Come on.
Yeah, goalies have bad nights every now and again. Yeah, it's a bad time to have a bad night, but Bryce saying, "What a trade! Wow!" And so are we blowing it up? Essentially, yeah. That's what we're doing.
One pillar has fallen. We got 3 to go.
Right. Meanwhile, Tom Hetrick saying Vegas in 6. Man, you must be having a good time, my brother. You have got to be enjoying yourself, man. Vegas is only 2 wins away from winning their first cup in franchise history. They will be the fastest post-Original 6 era expansion team to win the Stanley Cup in history. They'll do it in 6 seasons. So they're 2 wins away.
I said the same thing last week, and I'm sticking by it. I still think Florida's going to find a way to win 2, and Vegas is going to finish up in 6.
All right. So,
For that to happen.
For what to happen?
For Florida to win 2 games in Florida. Just
so
momentum right now. Las Vegas. All the momentum. It's going to be real tough for them. For Florida, that is, to come back, to be able to come back. They just seem like they're too fast and they're too big for Florida to handle. That's what it seems like to me. I mean, the Bruins were big, but they're slow. The Leafs were fast, but they're small. The Canes just don't have enough offense. This team seems to have it all, and it just seems like Florida right now is overmatched. Unless they can figure out a way to compensate for all that, it's going to be trouble for them. It just seems like a bad matchup.
I mean, this is a pretty even matchup, I feel like. If you look at statistically, offense is about the same through the playoffs. Defense has been about the same through the playoffs. Goaltending's been about the same through the playoffs. We agreed that Bob was the better goaltender than Adin Hill, which still stands true. But yeah, Vegas might have all the momentum. But again, I'm just saying this. It's huge that Matthew Tkachuk stays on the ice, and he has not been able to do that. If he can stay on the ice and figure out ways to be more productive, that's your difference maker there. That's your difference maker. You're getting the goals from Duclair and some of the other guys that have been kind of on a milk carton for Florida lately. You're starting to get that production. You got to keep Tkachuk on the ice. Got to stay out of the box. That's the big thing. All it takes is one win to regain that momentum. And if you do it on the home ice in game 3, you're looking at a brand new series.
Right. And if they can get a really good win that not only kind of is a hard-fought victory, but it's a solid victory and it kind of reinvigorates the team like you're saying, they might be able to turn this around and all of a sudden say, oh, okay, we can beat these guys. It's a confidence thing. If you beat Vegas in this game and you beat them well and you have that solid victory, it's not something that you snuck out with. You can build off that and you could say, hey, we took them. We took them this time. We can beat them. We can beat them. Now, that doesn't guarantee you a win, doesn't guarantee you the series, but you feel more confident against this team. Right now, I'm sure Florida does not feel confident. They have to feel that if they want to win this series. Because, when it comes to a team like that, it's very easy to rattle a team that's all of a sudden they've worked so hard to get here, but, they were an underdog team the entire time, and then they start to kind of doubt themselves a little bit. It's like, oh shit, maybe we ran out of magic. Maybe you start asking yourself that question. Oh fuck, is the run over? Of course that comes to Paul Maurice. That's calm troops down and say, no. That's not what happened here. Just a bad game and you recover from it. That's what he's got to do. He's got to make them understand, like, no. We still win this series, boys. You just had a bad night. That's all it is. A bad night. That's it.
All right, and you're talking crazy now. What do you mean? What Bob will not recover? It's what he's done all season long. Alex Lyon? What has Alex Lyon done in his career? His 35 game NHL career. All of a sudden he makes a couple good saves. And now he should start? Come on, dude.
No.
Brad, you're muted.
Here, hold on. There you go, Brad. Oh, I thought I took him off mute. He's off
still
mute.
going. He's still muted.
He's off mute. I don't know what happened. I took him off. I don't know why. We're not able to hear you, Brad.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now we can.
Okay.
But that static is rough.
It's
Now he cut out.
It's been a lot of technical issues tonight. Started with Maddie, it affected me.
Seriously.
Right. We've had some. It's been rough. It's been rough.
Those damn Canadian wildflowers, man. It's affecting everything.
Seriously.
Right.
It's even affecting down here.
Here, I took you off my. Try now, Brad.
okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Is it better?
It's better.
Yes.
All right. I took the earplugs. I got to get new earplugs then, I guess.
Yeah. It's it happens. It's good old technology.
I think what it changed was sometimes it happens to me too. It happened a show ago where it starts to pair with your mic on your heads on your earbuds rather than your internal mic in your computer. I think if you go under settings, you can change what's your input and output or something like that. Little.
Me fix my computer. I'd be better off just buying a new.
I'm not tech savvy either.
Dylan saying, "What's going on, fellas? Hope all is well. Agree to the poll. Flyers are cashing in on the market in demand for players with tenured contracts."
Absolutely, they are.
And let's see here. Bryce I think he's going with Vegas, but he's also saying Florida's got to win Game 3, which they do. They
Must win.
absolutely do. And he also did say, so this rebuild will take about 5 years, I guess.
Hold up. Hang on. I can't get over this. And what do you want tonight? Talk to me. What do you want tonight? We have a little therapy session. This cat has one bad game. One bad game in the playoffs, and you're giving up on him. Dude, for real?
Actually, technically, Bob really is a cat since he is playing for the Panthers. So there you go. Pun intended.
Come on. Alex Lyon has done nothing. And you think he needs to start in Game 3. Oy vey.
I mean, he did play for the Flyers. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
Nah, Bob is the starting goalie. You let Bob.
Right, but I think Bob's proven that he's the starting goaltender on that team.
Absolutely.
So let's see here. There was one other comment. Oh yeah, by the way, just wanted to throw this one out here because Eileen this was hilarious. Eileen said Rod could be covered in mud and I'd still lick him from head to toe.
The love affair with Rod Brendamore.
I don't blame her.
Here's the funny part. So Joe comments on this, and he says, Eileen, that's why he wore the button down tonight. He knew you'd be back in the chat.
Busted. Nah.
Ooh.
I'm monogamous, brother.
Ooh.
Don't say.
Yeah, keep yourself out of trouble. That's a good idea.
What's the word? Keep your words short and sweet.
I'm already gonna get myself in a little bit of trouble. I'm bringing back hot female athlete of the week for the shootout. My God, man. My God, man.
Just say it was one of our ideas.
Hey, listen, if it's not Livy Dune, I really don't know if I want to see her right now. Oh my God, Livy Dune. Oh.
So Tom Hetrick saying Bob got exposed. And Dylan saying Flames may have their head coach announcement tomorrow. Seems it is down to between Mitch Love and Ryan Huska. Travis Green was the last external candidate spoken to.
Yeah.
By the way, the Ducks got a new coach today.
They did.
Yes, yesterday. But yeah.
Yesterday? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I read about it today, so
Yeah.
my bad.
No idea who this guy is. No.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask you. I've never heard of him. Can you
All right, so the story behind this cat is he's 60 years old. He spent a lot of time in the AHL. He's great with player development, and he's been coaching a very long time. They spent a lot of time in the Colorado Avalanche's farm system, had a little bit of time in the NHL. I forget where he coached, but he coached there. Never had a sub 500 record as a coach, so that's a plus. But the big thing to take away from this is he's great with player development. That's the big takeaway here. And it's a bridge one. So it's a bridge coach up until the point where they can compete again. If they wind up in the playoffs, that's just a bonus. But this season again is going to be another player development season, just like the Flyers should be having again. But yeah. Like I said, I don't know a whole lot. That's about all I know on the guy. But I'm optimistic with him. So.
All right. So now think we got that taken care of on the recap. So now we'll move on to our third period. But before we do that, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And then when we return, we will start our third period up as we'll dive into Game 3 preview. Obviously, we'll give our predictions for what we think will happen. It'll be interesting to see where this goes after all the craziness that we've seen so far in terms of the beatdown in Game 2 and the tough loss in Game 1 for the Panthers. But anyway, take a quick break. When we come back, third period action coming your way.
Hey Birds fans, the NFL schedule has arrived and Philly Sports Trips has all the details now. Visit the site phillysportstrips.com. This is sure to be an epic season. Be sure to go there now to make sure that you don't get shut out. Join us in Tampa, LA, Seattle, or when we get revenge in Kansas City. Don't want to fly? No problem. Gather up your crew and hop aboard one of our signature boisterous bus trips to DC or New York. Sign up now and make sure to mention A2D. Don't miss out on the best Philly fan experience anywhere. Philly Sports Trip customers always stay at the best hotels and meet NFL legends. Book today.
Have yourself some fun on a little trip with some fellow Eagles fans. That'll be a fun little ride for you to have. Although I would love to see Rob be a guest for A2D on there in a Cowboys jersey. That'd be just hilarious to watch, to be completely honest with you.
Why would I wear that filthy thing?
This guy, he just knows all the right things to say.
What are you saying, Brad?
throw me in there with a Giant jersey? I'm sure that would just make everybody thrilled.
Right. All right.
Meanwhile, I'll have footprints on my face, probably.
Mm-hmm. I'll be the only one wearing the right colors.
I wouldn't be wearing any colors because I don't follow football. So
This will be a good time.
Yeah, I mean, hell, it'd be an interesting experience considering the fact that I don't follow football. So anyway.
You'd be like that annoying girlfriend you have on the couch. What's he doing? Why does he do that? Why does that happen? What does that mean? Why is there a big yellow line right there?
Oh, so you know what? Oh, so we got to complete this. Then that means you guys got to set me up with a chick that is a big-time NFL Eagles fan, just in love with the Eagles and knows everything about football, and we get to do role reversal. And that would be just perfect. Complete the whole package right there.
Oh, wow. She leaves you at the stadium. I guarantee you that. Fuck this, I'm out.
You guys bad.
Damn, man. You are just like heartless. Damn.
See Maddie just standing there in a parking lot. What'd I do?
Yeah, like most guys. Anyway, we move on.
Oh, God.
Probably why I'm still single.
On to
Every time
these.
you're in trouble. What did I do? You don't know? You should. No, the best response is, well, if you don't know, I'm not going to tell you. I wouldn't be asking if I knew. Like, come on. Stop it.
Oh,
Be
but
rational.
anyway. All right, then. Yeah. So just
makes sense.
one last
Keep
to
moving
wrap that
forward.
up. Philly Sports Trips, Philadelphia, 5 for 5 sports travel company, premium travel, tailgating experience for passionate fans for Philadelphia. Go to phillysportstrips.com. All right. And diving into our third period sponsor, which is FanUp. It's the best way to enjoy fantasy sports. They have daily NBA and MLB contests and plenty more. And you can win great prizes if you sign up today and you use the promo code A2D, and that's 5,000 bonus points you get with that. You would be paying $50 unless you use that A2D code. So save yourself a nice little bit of money, get yourself started on the right foot, and earn yourself some cash in the fantasy world. Listen, the Pove right on down there, man, he's a master of that fantasy sports. He makes himself some nice little cash. You can too. I would take his advice. That would be the main thing.
I won $20 this week.
Oh, well, there you go. See? Yeah, see? You can win yourself some nice cash, like $20,
Thank
2,000,
God
who
for
knows?
the NBA Finals.
All right. So, gents.
I went totally DJed today and threw Julio Teheran in a DFS lineup.
Ooh.
Kind of paid off too for his price.
Where is he now?
Milwaukee.
I had him. I put him on my fantasy team this week
Ah,
because he had 2 starts. Of course, he pitches a great game, and Milwaukee scores 0 runs for him.
yeah.
Typical
He has pitched well now in a third straight game, but
Yep.
I turned people off of him for this week. I was like, friends don't let friends stream former Atlantic League players. You know what I mean?
It's so true.
Well, my whole team's injured, so
Yeah, that's what pitching is in this day and age. Offensive only leagues, they're coming.
no,
They're
my
already here.
my offensive
really
team
are.
is all injured too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Judge, Buxton, Brandon Lowe.
I hate
Is Judge going to IL?
Yeah, but he does not have a broken toe,
Oh, good.
strained ligament. I don't know how long that means he's going to be out. Maybe only 2 weeks, hopefully.
What's your guys' beat report? Brian Koch, I think on is that how you pronounce his name on the Yes
Yeah.
Network?
Yeah.
Yeah, he put out the news about Judge, and I responded with the gift from the Big Lebowski. You want a toe? I'll get you a toe by 2 p.m. with nail polish. It's classic.
The Yankees are very, very lucky that's all it is.
Right.
Because
Sure.
we knew he'd go on the DL. If he's on, what he has is probably only a 2 week injury. So
Yeah,
you
so
know.
he'll probably be on a 10-day, and then
Good.
from there.
Good.
yeah. Thank God.
All right, gents. So, game 3. We were already talking about what the Panthers need to do to adjust. What do the Golden Knights have to do to keep this momentum rolling? Is there anything they need to adjust? Or do you think they're playing the perfect game right now, that they're just taking care of business and it's all Panthers who need to make the adjustments right now?
I'll let one of you guys go first.
I think, yeah, they got to keep it status quo. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And you just got to continue forcing Florida into mistakes. And sit back and take advantage of them. You have a 2-0 lead, right? Don't rest on your laurels. Great, you won your home games. You're supposed to. Now Florida needs to try to win theirs. So they got to keep the aggressive pressure, but they got to keep that great 200-foot play going on. I see that from top line to bottom line right now on this Vegas Golden Knights squad.
So
They're just not giving any room at all. The Vegas Golden Knights are not giving any room to the Panthers right now at all. It's like, the Panthers right now, everywhere they're going, there's sticks and bodies in the way.
Right.
It's like they've cut off the ice. And they're not giving up odd man rushes. So it's been very hard for them to score because of that.
that's a little rude. Cut off the ice from somebody else? That's just mean. Shouldn't be doing that.
Well, but that's what they do. This is hockey. It's not ice capades, you know.
Yeah, no, this isn't Disney on Ice.
This isn't the ice capades or Disney.
Well,
on
I know
Ice.
it's not the Ducks, but still, I mean, come on.
Oh,
Hey.
You set
You're in
yourself
worse
up
shape
for
than
that
we are
one,
now,
and you
buddy.
know it. Don't even try. You set
You're
yourself
in worse
up for
shape
that.
than we are now, buddy. We're gonna compete in 2 years. Where you gonna be?
Watching
boy.
you choke in the first round. But anyway,
Hey,
so-
at least we'll be in the first round.
right.
Y'all gonna be. You can be sitting where we are right now. Actually, you probably won't be. You'll probably have a top 7 pick as always. Always bad, but not bad enough.
That's right. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride, right?
That's
One
right.
day, right?
All right, don't feel bad. We're not there either. We had the opportunity for 2 number 1 overall picks, and we got screwed on both.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually getting stood up at the altar. So twice.
But, hey, I'll take. Listen, at the time, Bobby Ryan was a great pick.
He was.
Didn't pan out in
Bobby
the long
Ryan
term,
was
but
tremendous.
after he left Anaheim, he went downhill. But absolutely, his time
Yeah,
in
but when
Anaheim,
he
he was great.
When he was with your team, he was one of the top wingers in the league.
Mm-hmm. And now we're going to get Adam Fantilli, who's going to be one of the top centers in the league.
He's going to be very good.
Yes,
So-
he
I
is.
did see some highlights of him on the internet. He really has a gift. He has one hell of a shot.
Such a stud. I can't wait.
Yeah,
I can't
he's
wait.
and those hands.
Filthy.
So
Him and
Bri-
Zegras is a wet dream.
Yes,
Every hockey player's wet dream.
well, did we get to the shootout already?
especially when they fall on the ice and they get snow on them. Then they really have wet dreams.
Quite literally.
Yeah,
You know what? Actually, the worst thing you can do to a hockey player if he like is hurt and his body's hurting him and he's been on the ice all night long and that's why his body's hurt. Just say, "Hey man, just put some ice on it." Just see his face, just like "fuck you."
I bet he would.
Yeah. Real quick,
Why don't you sit in the ice bath?
yeah, right. Before I give my little input on Game 3 here, just want to address Luke's comments here. He said Flyers are terrible, will never be good again. Try to tank every year, somehow make the playoffs. Why would we get rid of Ivan? We traded Ivan or more mid players. Like we don't have enough of. It's rebuilding, bro. It's just the way it's going to go. You're going to get a bunch of mid players, but you don't trade these guys for those players. You trade them for the draft capital you get in return. You got 2 first-round picks now, 1 at 7, 1 at 22. 22 may even get moved to move up or down or whatever. But you want the draft capital. That's more important than the players you're getting back in return. It's all about player development, not wins and losses at this point. However, to Game 3, for me, I'm with Robbie. You got to stay the status quo. Don't fix what's not broken. You're playing very disciplined hockey. For the most part, you're staying out of the box. And when you are in the box, you're not allowing the Panthers to take advantage of the power play. Getting bodies out in front, doing a great job supporting Adin Hill. The back check has been pretty outstanding. It's the Panthers that really have to make the adjustments. And like I said, the big thing for the Panthers is getting Matthew Tkachuk to stay on the ice for the full game, not spending any time in the locker room. It hurts more than it helps. I hope he realizes that and that he can move forward. But yeah, for Vegas, it's do what you're doing. It's working.
So before we move forward here, Penguins, God Crosby fans saying how great would Hart would look great in a Robo Penguins jersey. No, he wouldn't. No, he wouldn't. Get that blasphemy out of here.
You're
a
shut
great
your
guy,
mouth when
but
you're talking to us.
right. It's like you seem like you're a great guy, but no.
The Penguins wouldn't need him anyway. Goaltending is not their problem.
Right. And then
Jarry and DeSmith are a good enough goaltending combination. You don't need to be trying to upgrade with Hart. You're good enough in goal. You got to get some young, speedy players on your team and not the graybeards.
And then DeVale's King fan saying, wrong. Hart looks better in a Jersey Devils jersey and would help us out. No, he wouldn't. No, that's even
Absolutely.
worse. That
No,
might
listen,
actually be
he
worse than the
absolutely would.
Penguins jersey. No, absolutely. Go away. No, you seem like you're a great guy too, but no, get that blasphemy out of here. Anyway, I mean, he is the devil, so what should I expect? But anyway, on Eileen saying, one last comment. Well, actually, question, where is Hexy nowadays? Unemployment.
Hired.
That is where he is.
Sitting in a line in the unemployment office. That's where he is.
Right. Joe also says Livy Dunn is old enough to be your daughter, Brian.
I would have had to hire at 18, so probably not. Kudos for trying.
A depressed Oilers fan saying both of you are wrong. Hart will win a cup with us and McDavid. Boy, that would still kind of suck to watch Hart win a cup with him. But at least it wouldn't be the Devils or Penguins, so I guess I could live with it a little bit more. I guess.
It is a realistic rumor, though.
Yeah.
It is a realistic rumor.
That it is.
Yeah, hey,
All
they
right.
can give you guys Darnell Nurse.
Yeah.
I'll leave a shout out.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Donovan McNabb's nephew? Sure. That'll go over just well in Philadelphia, I'm sure.
Him and his
Does he wear number 5 if he comes to the Flyers?
Yeah. Changed it to 5. Oh
gosh.
Joe saying, checked in on our boy Oscar Lindblom. Man, he had an awful year. 73 games played, 15 points, and a -16. Ugh, that is bad. Whew. That is, wow.
Okay player on a terrible team.
Whew. Okay. So, we move on. Typical Canucks fan. Some friendly banter, and he says the Metro sounds like it's on crack. It is. Why do you think all the teams act the way they do?
Crack.
Well, I mean, to be fair, look at how good and tight that division is. I feel like you have to be on crack to even compete.
Right. That's the only way. That is the only way.
Mm-hmm.
And he also said, honestly, Hart would look great for Seattle or my team. Honestly, if he went to the Canucks and he did shit with you guys, I wouldn't be upset because you know what? I wouldn't mind if the Canucks went on a run. It's like, you know what? Okay, if any team deserves to have at least 1 year where they're kicking everybody's ass, it's the Canucks. I mean, they've gone through so much shit.
Well, Hart's from Edmonton. His parents might disown him, right? If he goes to Vancouver.
That's true, actually. I mean, no, maybe not disown him. They might give him like a bit side glances at the family reunion. They'll disown him if he goes to the Flames. Then they'll disown him then.
Very true. Very true. Very true.
All right. So, real quick, I know we talked a lot about this and pretty much ad nauseum since the start of the show, but I'm gonna throw this tweet out there real quick from Darren Dredger. As for ongoing Carter Hart speculation, no question the Flyers are engaged in discussions, but at this stage, they're listening and just gauging a level of interest. So there is no deal imminent at this point.
Okay. Now I'm starting to feel a little bit more comfortable. All right. Okay. Whew.
My son's back.
Yes.
My son's back. You're back home.
Right. Come on back.
Come on, Connor. Dinner's on the table. Come on. Come on
The street lights are on. It's time to come inside for dinner.
I love it. Typical Canucks fans say. Plus, we had a goalie before Demko. I mean, you did. Yeah, Roberto Luongo. So, gentlemen, we move on to overtime. It's time for the shootout, brought to you by Alonzi Travel. Listen, sometimes you just need to get away from all the bullshit that's going on. Right now, I feel like I need to get away from this Hart trade talk. And if you do feel that need, then what you need to do is you need to plan a vacation. But you yourself don't have to plan it. Alonzi Travel can do it for you. They specialize in creating the vacation of your dreams at Disney, Universal, or wherever your heart calls to. Let their talented team of travel experts create a custom vacation for you. Plus, also, there are two particular gentlemen that you definitely want to speak to. One is Ritz, the other one is Chucks. Go to those gentlemen, and they will take care of you. This is their expertise and they will make sure you have the best vacation, the best damn vacation you've ever had.
All right. So before we jump into this real quick, I do have a question here, boys. And this is for Thrashers Fan Forever or Thrashers Forever Fan 2000. Who do you root for now that Atlanta's not there?
You root for Winnipeg. I wonder, did you go with the team to Winnipeg?
I'm just curious. That's all.
But he did also say Hart and Winnipeg, or possibly how nasty would Hart look for Atlanta Thrashers? Well, it'd be hard to look great for the Atlanta Thrashers since they don't exist. But for the Jets, I mean, hey.
They have a goalie already. The Jets.
God.
Yeah, Hellebuck.
Yeah,
He's a good one, too.
Yeah, I was going to say.
For now. He's being shopped, too.
Oh,
Is he really?
He is.
He'd be a good pickup for anybody.
I feel like the Jets are starting to evaluate their roster. They might actually be looking to hit the reset button, with the situation that they're in. They're kind of in the middle. Maybe they're not as confident as they would like to be in this team. It's like, you know what? Maybe we need to retool this team a little bit here, and maybe trading Hellebuck away begins that process.
How about
you know what I mean?
Kyle Connor to the Rangers.
You have enough. Stop being greedy.
What does it matter? Look where it got him.
Can't just trot the same thing out there.
Good point.
Touche. So Connor Hellebuck is a free agent at the end of next year. So it's a contract year for him this year coming up.
Okay.
So
One guy who's not going to be a free agent, I don't know if you boys heard about this earlier, Cole Caulfield, he agreed to an 8-year, $62.8 million contract with Montreal. I think that's an average annual value of $7.85 million. Talking about a 22-year-old forward, 36 points in 46 games last season, including 26 goals in that injury-shortened campaign. And he could have been a restricted free agent as of July 1st, so they locked him up. I read this article. Obviously, that's where I'm getting all this information from. But in an interview, Caulfield said after the signing, I wanted to be here. I wanted to be here for a long time. I love where this organization is going. At the end of the day, both sides got what we wanted, and I couldn't be more proud. Good player, good young player. I wanted to give him a little shout out.
Nice. Through that franchise there for sure.
Nice.
Right.
Dash Fan Forever does say, I wouldn't mind Hart, but I have no team in Atlanta, and grunts at NHL pokes Bettman with stick. I mean, unfortunately, I know Atlanta wants another hockey team, but I don't know if the NHL wants Atlanta. And plus also you would have to realign the conferences again, and I don't think the NHL has any appetite for that right now after everything they went through with originally.
Why can't they root for Carolina?
I mean, you could. It's in the region.
Yeah.
I mean, he's rooting for the Flyers. But his heart's with the Thrashers, and I don't blame him for that.
Well, hey, if you're rooting for the Flyers, hey, we're more than happy to have you. I understand if your heart's with the Thrashers. I know. They got done dirty there towards the end. They really did. You read into what happened with them in Atlanta sports. Whew, that was nasty what happened to them. But let's see here. Oh, Joe said, how about the Avs give us Makar? I was thinking that, but I didn't want to say it because I thought, no, because Colorado's never going to give that to us. Would love it, but it's not happening.
How about this? We reinstate the Atlanta Thrashers in the NHL, and we move the Atlanta Braves to the American League. How about that?
Ah, well, there you go.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we can agree to that.
So that means the Braves would be what? They'd be in the AL East?
Yeah, they'd be in last place in the AL East.
Can we trade the Atlanta Braves right now for?
Put the Yankees in the National League East.
I'm good.
We'll be yawning. We'll be yawning in the middle of June.
No, I'm good because I'm good. We already got one New York team. Two's too much.
Oh no, you can move the Mets.
Oh my God! Could you imagine? I just realized that.
Mets to the American League.
No.
I like that Mets rivalry.
No, what you do is you put the Yankees and the Mets there in the same division, and then watch New York fans literally get into physical fights in Yankee Stadium.
That's
at
exactly
City
what would happen. It'd be like the Brooklyn Dodgers and New York Giants all over again.
Yeah, well, that kind of happened. That kind of happens for 6 days a year. They start the first 3 rounds in wherever they're playing, and then they go to the Bronx for the first 3 rounds, and then the second 3 rounds is out at Citi Field.
2-2 now. Only 2-2.
Oh, it's 2-2. Oh, okay.
Thank God.
Oh man.
Yeah. New York City can't handle the bill that the cops send them.
Yeah.
Thrashers fan, listen, man, I appreciate the effort, but no, Dallas will never give us Robertson and
Robertson
Ivinger.
and Ivinger.
No.
Make it so. 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 I'm trying to will it into existence.
Right. I love this though. I do like this.
No,
this is a great deal. What are you talking about?
No.
Anaheim would love to have Hayes and Ristolainen. It'd be great for you guys.
First of all, hold on. Time out here. Let's break this down for a second. Let's first of all look at the goaltending situation in Anaheim right now. John Gibson and Lucas Dostal. As of right now, we don't need a goaltender.
You will pretty soon because Gibson wants out.
We're not talking about soon. We're talking about right now. Right now.
He's not even going to be there by September. He's going to be gone.
No, he's going to be gone by the draft. But that's not what we're talking about right now.
That's not even the point.
Yeah, that's not even the point.
I mean, he made it very, very clear the other day on the internet. He wants out.
Oh, he does want out. We've talked about this last week.
Yeah. Oh, he really wants out.
Oh, we know he wants out.
Yeah.
I know he wants out. It breaks my heart, but you know what? He deserves a chance to win the cup. Hayes, I'm so on Hayes because his leadership could actually be really good in the locker room. Ristolainen, our defense was bad enough without him. We don't need him to make us any worse.
Oh, I never liked him. He's horrible.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, he's horrible.
But I will say this. I'm excited for Adam Fantilli.
You should be.
There you go.
I am.
Yeah, you should be. You're gonna have unbelievable.
I love Connaughton, but Lucas Dostal, baby, that's the future.
By the way, Leafs fan love sends now. Yes, rest in peace, Arizona Coyotes. Put in the cross of the graves now. May they rest in peace.
They're going to try everything in their power to keep them there.
So,
yeah, they are.
Yeah, but that Tempe, that deal falling through, man. God damn. All that I will say, as heartless as I am, my first reaction was I started laughing. I laughed so hard, I think I fell out of my chair.
Not in Phoenix.
They voted no.
So it's not Phoenix. It's not Tempe. It's not Glendale. You think maybe they go for maybe like Scottsdale or something like that?
I mean, how many cities are left?
There's still a good handful.
They could try.
But
I think
they're going to be out of the Phoenix area.
I think Scottsdale's like the last one. I would have to say.
I mean, maybe Flagstaff. I don't like.
I mean, well, they're already called the Arizona Coyotes, so it doesn't even matter on that.
You're right.
I would think Scottsdale would be like the last ditch effort, like the last ditch effort.
I can't think of any other cities out there that could be big enough.
If Scottsdale, okay, so we're gonna get a vote from Scottsdale City Council that's gonna come back no too.
Yeah.
Well,
all right, so let's move on here.
Real quick, what if they go back to Phoenix and play where the same vicinity as like the Cardinals are playing? And where,
why couldn't they do that?
The Diamondbacks, like, why are they out of Phoenix in the first place?
Oh, they got kicked out for not paying their rent.
They were.
That was Glendale.
Oh, okay.
No,
sorry.
that was Glendale.
They
moved to Glendale
got the reason,
because.
Right? It's just city.
Okay.
The reason why they moved is because they the Gila River Arena was brand new when at the time it was the jobbing.com arena, and they went there because I don't think the Suns wanted to share the what's it called now? I think it's still American West Airlines Arena. I think that's what it's still called to this day. But it used to be called that back in the 90s. But
Yeah.
the Suns play there. I don't think they wanted the Coyotes there. So the Coyotes moved to the new arena that was built in the Jobby.com arena. I mean, actually, I liked it when it was called Jobby.com Arena because it was such a stupid name. But but
Now you got the
still, that's pretty much
crypto.com.
what happened.
I mean,
Right.
I think Phoenix might be the really outside of
Albuquerque.
any other, maybe Flagstaff or something like that. They might be the only city to be able to support the Coyotes. I mean,
If they
we
were
gotta
to
figure
move
it
to
out.
Albuquerque, they'd have to use Heisenbergers.
Oh my god, that's funny. That's funny.
Anthony saying the
Wyoming.
Yotes should go to Wyoming. The Wyoming Coyotes? Do they have coyotes in Wyoming?
Coyotes everywhere, right?
Oh yeah.
Are they?
Coyotes in New
I
Jersey.
mean,
I got
There
them
are?
down here too.
I did not know that actually.
I
I
got
know there were
mountain lions down
foxes in
here.
New Jersey. There's mountain lions
Well,
down
they're in
in Carolina?
California. They're in California. A lot of them in California.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Anywhere there's a lot of farmland, you can usually find coyotes.
Interesting. Actually, if they go to New Mexico, they should be called the El Chupacabras. I would absolutely dig that. It's like the El Chupacabras.
They moved to San Diego. Very good.
Yes, they would have to be called the Gulls. There's no other name for them to choose but the Gulls.
So they become the Anaheim Ducks AAA, or AAA. Well, essentially AAA, but AHL team.
Yes. I mean, wouldn't you mind having two AHL teams that are called the Gulls? There'd be no confusion in
As
that.
long as I can get Clayton Keller out of it, I hey, whatever.
See?
Real quick, I see Ted. I see your comment. I'm happy with Carlson. I'd be very happy with Carlson. So I prefer Fantilli? Absolutely, but I'd be very happy with Carlson.
All right, then. So, gentlemen, on to the shootout we go. And we will start things off with, well, you know what? Should we save the female athlete for the last and go to hot take to start things off to have fun with it?
Sure.
I think we should. All right.
Let's do it.
So we'll do hot take of the week to start things off. Who wants to give it?
I'll go. Hot take for game 3. Bob comes back after being
Right?
pulled.
You want to do it? Oh, okay, Rob.
Oh, sorry. My hot take for game 3 will be Bob comes back after getting pulled and pitches a shutout.
Oh, okay.
I like it.
Okay.
I like it.
I mean, I said before, the confidence that Paul Maurice has in him, talking about a guy with a 195 goals against, a 942 save percentage in 11 of his last 12 games, winning those games, getting the Panthers to the Stanley Cup Finals. And he's been better than what we've seen in the last 4 periods in the final, because he was pretty good in game 1 and in periods 1 and 2. So, yeah, I mean, there's flashes. They're going to need him to have a huge game.
Agreed.
All right then. So on to I'll do my hot take. My hot take will be that game 3, Paul Maurice will jump the boards and will tackle the head coach of the Vegas Golden Knights, Bruce Cassidy, and we'll have a coaching brawl since Paul Maurice likes to yell and scream every 5 minutes. So or he'll jump and attack one of the refs.
An absurd hot take that we know will never ever happen.
You know what? Can I dream Can I just have a dream of watching Paul Maurice absolutely snapping right there on live television because his team's getting his ass kicked? It's like, come on.
You and the chaos in the world. You and this chaos. You really do just want to watch the world burn, don't you?
I do, goddammit, I do. And I want to see the NHL be the catalyst to that. Because if there's one sport that can do it, it's hockey, goddammit. It is the one and only that can.
It is the most emotional of all the sports.
Why don't you just say, hey, my hot take is somebody's going to go pull the Happy Gilmore, take off his skate and try and stab somebody?
Nah, because that's already been played out. Need to do something new.
You make my brain hurt.
Good.
What about sharp? What about
His response is good.
What about sharpening the knob of your stick and using it as a weapon?
There you go.
Yes.
I mean, with that composite now, that's just sharp. All you got to do is just cut somebody and you got a problem.
Hey, listen. One of the players wanted to go vampire hunting. He has a wooden stake now.
Like the other team's water cooler with Visine.
There you go.
Oh my God! Yeah,
They'll be shitting their brains out. Do it.
That's crazy. All right, so my hot take is gonna be this. It's gonna be similar to me, Metal Mike's, but it's gonna be a little different. I do think Tkachuk has a great game in Game 3 here. I think he's going to have 2 goals. I say he's going to have 2 goals, and one of them will be the GWG.
Okay.
That'll help my prediction from last week that he'd score 6 goals in the finals. He's only got 1 at this point.
My hot take.
Well, 1 in 2 games isn't bad.
My hot take is that he will not be in the penalty box all night.
That's a hot take.
That is a hot take, actually.
Hot take.
He is not taking any penalties. He's not going to. He's going to be under control, and you're going to see completely different, smart, well-behaved Matthew Tkachuk, and you'll see like a little halo floating over his head as he's skating around the ice.
You see, you had me until that point. God, now I know you're lying.
He'll be the most holy man in hockey right there.
Exactly. Yeah. ESPN will have to insult hockey, the world of hockey, and draw a little halo over his head as he's skating around.
He's not going to be skating. He's going to be floating with his angel wings.
Yes.
Stick handling.
Yes.
Somehow the puck will float.
There'll be no dirty checks. There might be a little bit of yelling and screaming because we can't. There's only so many miracles you can have, but he won't yell at the goalie. He won't slash anybody. He won't punch anybody.
Oh, man, this really is a hot take. Y'all taking notes out there? This is how you do a hot take right here.
Yeah, he's gonna be a well-behaved player, and he's gonna play at least 23 to 24 minutes.
Interesting. Meanwhile, me Metal Mike saying my other hot take is that the Coyotes will be in New Orleans. So
I don't even know if they even support the basketball team there. Honestly, don't know. I know they celebrate football.
Would you support a team that's called the Pelicans?
They support a team called the Saints.
I mean, that's a little bit better than the Pelicans.
I mean, have you ever? You don't mess with the Pelican. I'll tell you that right now.
I'm not saying I would mess with the Pelican. I'm not saying I would mess with the Pelican because that'd be fucking stupid. But I'm just saying that
it's not like Finding Nemo where a pelican's gonna let 2 fish shit in his mouth while he flies around trying to find one son.
They're pretty nasty. They're nasty birds.
They are. They're pretty feisty. So yeah, I would take a team called the Pelicans if I lived in New Orleans. Absolutely.
Aren't they run by Michael Jordan anyway?
I don't know if they still are. Because they were Charlotte, right? They were the Charlotte Bobcats before they went to New Orleans, right?
Yeah.
No, they were the Charlotte Hornets.
Charlotte Hornets, yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah, they went back to being the Hornets.
The Bobcats are the team in Carolina now. No. They changed their name, though. But, they were the Charlotte Bobcats, and now they're Charlotte, whatever the hell they are now. The Hornets,
they're back to the Hornets. Yeah, they're back to the Hornets. Okay.
Joe's saying that I'm like a dog chasing a car. I wouldn't know what to do if I caught one.
You wanna know how I got these cars?
All right. So on to our next part of the shootout. That will be favorite all-time player. Obviously, non-homer pick. So who wants to lead off on this one?
Favorite
Which one?
all-time player?
Which one did I do this? Is this all time or is this current?
I believe all-time.
Okay, because I think I put both on there.
Well, one's all-time. The other one is current non-home team player.
Okay, good. Okay. All right, that's what I thought. Okay. One of you boys can go first.
All right, I'll go first. Favorite current non-home team player for me, we're seeing him in these finals, Mark Stone. I mean, what a difference he makes for the Vegas Golden Knights lineup. Just look at that highlight from game 2 where he makes a great defensive play, breaks his stick, calmly goes to the bench for a new piece of pine, and then steps up and then sets up a goal. Just 200 foot to the max. Mark Stone, just big difference maker here.
Love Mark Stone. Love Mark Stone. Non-homer
All right.
current. Well, for me, it used to be Patrick Kane, and then he got old. Which is ironic because he's not even really that old because he's younger than me.
He got old the moment he went to the Rangers, is what you're saying.
No, he got old the moment he started having hip issues.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course.
He's sitting there in the locker room every game. Oh, my hip. I don't know. Like, I got a few of them. I got quite a few. I have to say, after getting to watch him quite a bit down here, Andrei Svechnikov has turned into one of my favorite players. Very under the radar, 30-goal scorer. He's got a fun name to pronounce. That's probably one of the bigger reasons why I enjoy watching him play. But he's just such a talented player, and he's still 23 years old, and he's got such a bright future in this league. He's going to be a lot of fun to watch moving forward. You're looking at a future 40-goal scorer in this league.
So for me, mine will be Cale Makar. That guy is a goddamn walking highlight reel. Every 5 minutes, he's doing something spectacular. It's like, Christ. Jeez. This kid is unfucking believable. My Lord. I mean, put it to you this way. Edmonton threw Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl at him, and he countered it. He said, fuck you. I'm going to outdo you in the series. And he did. It's like, Jesus. It's like, how many people could say that?
Yeah, seriously. And he does it all from the blue line, too, which is the part that makes it even crazier.
Right. It's like, Jesus. This guy's going to be like the new version of Paul Coffey. Be like, yeah, he's a defenseman, but actually, you know what? Even better, he'll be the new version of Bobby Orr, because Paul Coffey was a D-man in name only. But anyway, so
that's a better comp, I think, is Bobby Orr.
Yeah, Bobby Orr. I was going to say, yeah, even I had to pull myself back on that. I was like, oh, no. Paul, that's an insult to call him Paul Coffey. Anyway, so, Robbie, who you got?
Robbie,
who do I got for all-time player?
Yeah.
Do I even need to answer this question? It's John Leclerc.
I put non-current or non-homer.
Favorite current non-home team player was Mark Stone, and then your other option was favorite all-time player. Didn't say non-homer. Yeah.
Did it? I could have sworn I put it. Okay. All right.
You know what? Nah, actually, I think, Brad, did you give yours for the non-homer?
No, I did not.
Okay, that's what it was. I thought it was Rob. It was Brad that hadn't gone. My bad on that.
Guy Lafleur.
That's all-time favorite? Nice.
Loved watching that guy play. He was unbelievable.
He was really great.
Yeah, he was something else. Home player, Rod Gilbert.
Rod Gilbert. Okay.
He's not a current player though. I guess if it has to be a current player, then it would be my boy Mika. That's my boy, even though he was terrible this year. But
What about
in the
non-homer?
playoffs,
Oh, he's cutting out again.
See, we said non-homer, and this is what we get.
He has to wait till the end. The technical difficulties in this show tonight.
That's because he doesn't want to pick a non-ranger. That's what it is. I see it. I get it. It's okay. It's understandable. Still can't get you, Brad.
See how long you keep going.
Anybody read lips?
No.
Nope.
I read pussy lips.
Oh my God.
Leon Draisaitl.
Leon
Yeah,
tries
it
it.
is.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. All right. Joe saying current non-homer got to be McDavid. Favorite all-time Gagne. Love it. Love Simon Gagne. My favorite Flyer. Yeah, I would. You know what? Him and Danny are probably tied now. So
Because of that trade today, huh?
not only that too, but also did go back and watch the 2010 highlights because I was feeling down. Just had to go back and watch the good old days when Danny was scoring for us. So
Interesting. Okay.
maybe
Fair
that's
enough.
what willed it
Fair
into
enough.
existence. I was watching those highlights of Danny, and you know what? He scored another one for us.
Scored another one. Well, there he goes again. Scored another one.
Scored another one.
One more time. That's it. Scored another one.
Danny's always had the magic touch. He still does. Still got it.
I have to go. I have to go, and I have to watch Mark Messier's hat trick against the Devils.
There you go.
When he said we'll win tonight, and then he had a hat trick. He backed it up, and he got a hat trick.
He did, because boy, see, you got to give him credit because he would have looked like a complete ass if he had you guys had lost that game.
I'm sorry, and this is gonna go into my favorite all-time player. Although technically, my favorite all-time player is in a three-way tie because I really can't choose between the three of them. But my favorite highlight involving my favorite all-time player is off the floor on the boards. I mean, come on, Scott Stevens legitimately killed Paul Correa.
He did.
He was dead.
He did.
He was bad. He was a bad man.
Yes, he was. But Paul Correa came back and scored a game-winning goal in Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final.
He also
After being dead.
He also killed Eric Lindros.
He killed a lot of people.
Yeah, he really did. He didn't play games out there. If you didn't have your head up, he would make you pay.
Yes, and he did.
Yeah.
But as for the other two that are tied, it's Timo Solani and Scott Niedermayer.
Both great players.
Scott Stevens killed more people than Simon Phoenix. Murder, death, kill. That's a fucking comment. That's a great comment.
Man. Who dropped that comment?
That was in Flyers Extreme. I've been trying to kind of work in their comments, but they're not showing up on our feed here because they're doing it through the group. That's
that
a
is
great
funny.
comment.
That's great.
This is interesting. Ted saying, according to Anthony Sanfilippo, Portland is in the mix for an expansion team. See, that actually would be interesting because of the close region you have between Vancouver, Seattle, Portland, San Jose. You would have all those teams north, and you could take a team out of the Pacific and put them into the Central. You could do it to either Edmonton or Calgary. You could take them out of the Pacific and put them into the Central Division.
Or Winnipeg.
Or Winnipeg, actually.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. No, I
Winnipeg's
think
already in the Central.
Winnipeg's in the Central.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be one of the two teams you would pull out.
Calgary or Edmonton, you could do because they're just north of Chicago. So.
Right. So yeah, you could take one of those teams, put them out there, and put Portland in there. So yeah, that would be interesting. Joe's like, what the hell do you do with those seashells?
We still haven't found out.
Nope.
30 years later.
I don't want to know.
Okay,
Demolition Man is 30 years old.
Right.
On that.
Would you? Okay, so if you ever met Sylvester Stallone, would you ask him that question just to see what his reaction would be?
Absolutely.
You'd be smart to use a megaphone and be 50 yards away so you could run. At his age, he probably wouldn't catch you.
I don't know. He's a little guy. I wouldn't put it past him. Some little guys can move.
So, all right. So for me, I would say I gave my all-time for the homers, but I guess my non-homer pick, really all-time, I'm going to say, he did play for the Penguins, and since Jágr played for the Flyers, I can't pick him. I would say, you know what? I got to go with his partner in crime. I got to go with Lemieux. I mean, that guy was amazing. You look back on what he was doing, it's like, Christ, who else could compete with him? Like, nobody. And if it wasn't for his injuries and the cancer, it's like, Jesus, imagine what more he could have done had he not had his career cut short from his back injury.
Oh, he was a fabulous player, but I couldn't stand him.
I firmly believe, and I'm going to stand by this, that if he didn't miss as much time as he did, he would give Gretzky a run for his money as far as points, career points goes. And I don't necessarily know if Gretzky's sitting number one if Lemieux doesn't miss that time.
Yeah.
Right.
Didn't he have 1 year where he played 50 games and he had 160 points?
Yep.
Yes.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was ridiculous. As far as like a one-on-one player, he was the greatest player ever of all time. I mean, you couldn't take the puck. Imagine David Pastrnak on steroids. The way Pastrnak handles the puck. That was Mario Lemieux.
Yep.
You could not get the puck away from him because he was so strong, and he just had so many moves, and he could also run you over because he was so damn big.
Yeah. Well,
all right.
I firmly believe that he would be the greatest of all time if he didn't miss any of that time.
Right.
You might be right.
I mean, I understand why Brad can't stand him because Adam Grace whacked him on the hands. So.
And he pretended, and he went down like he was shot, big baby. He didn't even miss the rest of the game, and Graves got suspended for 3 games.
I'm sorry. I have to keep bringing that up because that is just too damn funny not to.
Yeah. My attitude was he didn't hit it hard enough.
I'm sure.
If you're gonna get suspended, break his damn hand.
Oh,
otherwise, don't do it at all.
Make it worth your while.
Yeah. Get your pint of blood.
Right. I mean, hell, that's what you're supposed to do, right? It's hockey.
Yeah,
so,
listen, if you're gonna get suspended, you might as well make it worth your while. I mean, otherwise, you just kind of, blew it.
Joe's saying, I would have liked to have seen 16 years of a healthy Lindros. We all would have, man. That would have been real nice. Unfortunately, that is not how the hockey gods intended that to work out. Nope.
No.
Can't ever have nice things in Philadelphia. Just fucking can't. Anyway.
We got Bryce Harper. That's nice.
He's injured all the time, though.
That is not 100% true.
He's hurt. Every time I hear he's hurt. It was like
that's like 70 at most 70% true.
Still not a good thing. 70% is not good. That is a terrible thing. I'm just saying that's not good.
But when he's on the field, he's productive.
I'm not saying he isn't. I'm just saying don't want 70% hurt. Like that's not good. Hell, you don't even want
like
50.
Is that like Trey Turner? He's great everywhere he plays, and then he comes here, and all of a sudden he forgets how to play baseball.
It's still too early for that.
Yeah, I know. I'm just playing.
He did have 2 home runs yesterday, though. So that's good.
Well, our buddy Doug Minkiewicz thought it was a good idea to move him to the 4 hole.
I don't know where he's batting right now, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, he endorsed that move.
Could be huge for the Mets here, Robbie.
So while that'll take care of it for the shootout. And we thank everybody who chimed in, all the new people that we saw today. Thank you very much. You guys are always appreciated. Hopefully we'll see you back here next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, unless the Golden Knights have it their way, we will have a game to actually do live reactions to in the Stanley Cup Finals. That's if Vegas doesn't have it their way. So we'll have to wait and see, won't we, gentlemen? But fingers crossed, we will have a game to do a live reaction to. I don't care who wins.
Kachuk is going to behave himself.
Right.
It's going to be a
He's
perfect
going to be
angel.
He's going to be the golden boy.
So also, along with this halo and his wings floating in the air with the puck, is he going to leave like a golden mist everywhere he goes?
Yeah.
Of just pure joy and happiness.
Yeah. As he puts the puck in the net.
No, go, Robbie.
I was going to say, before we sign off, do you guys want to see this hot female athlete of the week or no?
Oh my God, yes. Go right ahead.
You sure?
Yes. Okay.
Oh my God, is it you in a Speedo?
It's not me in a Speedo, although that would be hot too. No, for no one. That would be hot for no one. I didn't say for a second. No, I caught wind of this. She used to be a goaltender in the women's professional hockey league in Chatham, Ontario, Canada. She's gained so much fame on Instagram that she's pretty much hung up her skates and is now a Instagram model. But look her up. I'm going to try to share my screen, but Michaela Detmer. Oh my God. Let's see if this works.
Michaela Detmer. Okay. As the audience waits in bated anticipation.
Okay, it should be up or available for you to pop up.
All right, adding it in now.
Whoa.
Holy
Michaela, from Ontario, or Chatham, Ontario, Canada.
I'm moving to Chatham, Ontario, Canada. She was a goalie?
She's Canadian?
A decent one. She was on their prospect list too in the WHL, or not that WHL, but you know.
I'm actually speechless.
That I could understand why. I mean, guys, I'm thinking that's a 10 right there. Maybe even a high. I'm going to put that in 12 range right now. Like, good God, maybe 20.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna stop it sharing the screen because it's gonna be eliciting too much behavior. You know what I mean?
No.
I don't know.
Gotcha.
I'm out of words. I'm speechless. Oh,
I think we all are right now. Did you really just come back? Swoopy just came back at the perfect time right there.
She's my future ex-wife is who she is.
Yes.
You gotta hitchhike up to Chatham.
Here we go.
Why don't I follow her?
Oh.
I'm gonna follow her now.
There you go.
I feel like this chick is like Paige what's her face, the golfing chick.
Sporadic, yeah.
Yeah.
There could be some similarities there.
Like she's just,
you know what though? Honestly,
a beautiful woman who
I'm going to say this right.
Kovacic, eat your heart out.
I'm going to say this right now. I'll be honest with you. I'm actually going to say she's hotter. She's hotter than Paige. I'm going to say it right now. I'm just going to throw that out there. I don't care if anybody's going to disagree with me on that.
Swoopy, yes.
her side-to-side movement's not bad while she's in net. I'll tell you that.
Just adds more to the adds more to the love list on this. Ted saying, "Is she single?" I make minimum wage and I'm free for the taking. Well said, Ted.
Is Ted who they base Chaz on in Wedding Crashers?
Yeah.
I wish she put more highlights on her page.
Oh man.
All right, boys.
What kind of highlights we talking here?
Like her actual hockey highlights. So
Oh, okay. I was gonna say you said highlights, but you
see
didn't say
what kind of goaltender
kind.
she is, and so I know she's not just a pretty face.
That's okay. That's fine. I just wanted to be sure what specific ones we were talking here.
What
So
other highlights would I
anyway,
be talking about? She's a hockey goalie.
hey. It's like, listen, some people have different versions of highlights than others. So, oh, all right.
He's a goalie.
We need to go.
We are going to go right now.
Yeah.
So, we thank everybody for joining us, for all the chaos that ensued. Everybody who was new, thank you very much. For all the regulars, of course, you guys are always the lifeblood of A2D. We would not be able to do this without you guys. So thank you very much for all your support as we continue to grow more and more every day. And we were brought to you by, as always, the Dr. Paul Vidal. Specialized Physical Therapy. If you have any aches and pains, go to specializedphysicaltherapy.com, make an appointment, head over to Cherry Hill or Burlington, New Jersey. Dr. Paul's got some great teams over there that'll make sure that if you got any aches and pains, they won't be there for much longer, and you will feel good as new, and you'll be able to get back to doing things you love doing, and also you get back to not feeling pain every 5 minutes at work, which is, it's bad enough you're at work. The last thing you want to do is feel aches and pains on top of it. So Dr. Paul, he's the guy to go to. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us once again for the Hockey Happy Hour. We will see you next week. Fingers crossed we will have a game from the Stanley Cup Finals to live react to. So won't hold my breath, but fingers crossed. We'll see you next week right here on A2DRadio.com. Until then, peace and love, everyone. Take it easy.